All right, I do apologize. Finishing up the final touches here on the live stream. Welcome back, everybody. Today is Saturday, January 4th, 2024. What you're currently looking at is the satellite imagery of our major winter storm taking shape across the central United States. What we're going to be doing in the live stream is we're going to be giving you the latest updates on this major winter storm, which will bring some very heavy snow, crippling ice, and a significant severe weather outbreak on the southern side of the system. We're going to be updating you on the latest information with that, go over some model trends that we've been looking at, latest observations with radar, and we're going to be answering your questions on this live stream. So make sure to hang in tight there. Ask your questions when you can. We'll get to the questions periodically after the forecast here and go from there. So hope everybody's having a wonderful start to their weekend out there. And let's look at the latest with our, let's see here. Let's go over to our alerts. Let me switch this over so you can see the page. So here are the alerts that we're seeing across the United States here as far as the major winter storm is concerned. There have been some updates and some uptrends, especially on the western side of the system, back into the plains and the Midwest that we want to touch on here. You're seeing a lot of colors. I get it. It's overwhelming. Let's break this down for you as simply as possible here. In those purple shaded colors, where I'm hovering my cursor around back here and towards South Dakota, southwest North Dakota, a lot of the state of Nebraska, eastern Colorado, all the way down into even northeast Texas panhandle. Those are winter weather advisories. That just means that travel will be very hazardous in some of these areas, especially when it comes to ice and snow accumulation, and also some wind gusts as well that could be blowing the snow around, creating some reduced visibility over a period of time. Now, that ups the ante once we get into the pink shaded colors here, and look how widespread it is from Kansas, in fact, western and central Kansas, all the way east through much of the lower Ohio River Valley and into the mid-Atlantic, all the way to the coast here in Maryland. We have those pink shaded colors. Those are winter storm warnings. That's where we expect significant snow and or ice accumulation, and that is where we could have the most significant travel as well with this system. Now, you see a couple other colors on here. In the purples here, the deeper purples are violet shaded colors in southeast Missouri, far southern Illinois, and western Kentucky. Those are ice storm warnings. These are actually quite rare to be issued. They are only issued when confidence is high for a significant crippling ice storm that is likely to be seen across portions of southeast Missouri, southern Illinois, and western Kentucky. Now, these also could become a little bit more widespread for farther east into southern Indiana, northern Kentucky. If confidence increases on the potential for ice in those areas, just know that. Now, there has been an upgrade to a blizzard warning in the orange shaded color across central and eastern Kansas up here. This does include the metro hub of Kansas City and then into northwest Missouri. That is where we expect some very heavy snow to coincide with very strong wind gusts, and that will create near whiteout conditions in these areas. So make sure if you are traveling in and around the Kansas City area to make it very, very tricky travel across this region, to say the least, almost near impossible conditions to travel in, especially with the height of the storm that we are seeing. So that is the latest update with the weather alerts across the country here. Again, the light purple shaded colors, those are winter weather advisories. The violet or dark purple is ice storm warnings. The pinks are winter storm warnings, and the oranges, those are blizzard warnings. That is the update on that. All right, so let's look here at the cold side of the system here, and let's go and make this a little bit better so you guys can see this here as well. And let's push this to there. All right. So let's look here at the latest high-resolution rapid and refresh model that is otherwise known as the HRRR, and let's go to the 18Z run. We're going to zoom it in here to the central United States view, and then we'll kind of slide it east toward the eastern U.S., okay? So let's give you a breakdown on when to expect the onset of some heavy precipitation here with this storm across portions of the central United States. Trying to get my bearings here. All right, so we're going to walk you through the timeline here as far as it's concerned with the precipitation. All right, so what we're seeing right now is this is about 6 o'clock here this evening. This is in about a couple of hours from now. We are actually going to start to see more freezing rain become widespread across portions of central and eastern Kansas and into western Missouri. Now, initially, light glazes of ice can be expected, but as this freezing rain continues for a few hours into the early evening, we can expect ice accumulations to really start piling up there in central and eastern Kansas. And then a narrow zone of snow in and around the Omaha region, or just slightly south of Omaha into the Kansas City area initially around 6 p.m. Central Time. We're likely going to see a wintry mix of rain, snow, and sleet, and also some freezing rain. And then we're going to switch back over to all snow there in Kansas City as we go deeper into the evening. This is around 10 p.m. and notice how widespread some of that heavy snow is becoming there into southeastern Nebraska, southwest Iowa, and northern Missouri. And some of the snowfall rates could be 1 to 2 inches per hour later on this evening. Notice as you go into southeastern Kansas, we have the greens. That is all rain. And then again, most of Kansas into western Missouri, as we go late this evening, we're going to see some freezing rain and sleet. Here we extend this into the view around 3 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, and we see heavy deformation snow starting to build in on the backside from the lee side of the Rockies and eastern Colorado into parts of the Oklahoma and northern Texas panhandle, and really snowing out here in central Kansas, where we could see snow rates up to 2 inches per hour as we go into 3 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. Let's extend it into mid-morning, 9 o'clock in the morning. Notice the snow is becoming very prevalent there in the Kansas City area, snowing heavily 9 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. If you have any church services that you are attending on Sunday morning there in the Kansas City metro or around there, travel is going to be very tricky, very impossible in some areas here with those blizzard conditions. We switch it over here to the wind, and look at the wind component here in gusts. We could be seeing wind gusts approaching 40, if not exceeding 40 miles per hour in some of these areas in central Kansas, coinciding with a 1 to 2 inch per hour snow rate. So we're going to see very heavy snow, and we're going to see some very gusty winds. That is why the National Weather Service in the Kansas City area has gone ahead and upgraded from a winter storm warning to a blizzard warning, because we're going to have heavy snow rates combining with 40 to 45 mile per hour wind gusts, and that's going to whip this snow around pretty good. Remember, blizzard warnings isn't for necessarily the amount of snow, it is for how much the snowfall is affecting visibility. So you could have no snow falling at all and still see strong winds to create blizzard-like conditions. So I just wanted you to know that as well. Again, if you just are joining here, we're doing live major winter storm coverage here on this channel, breaking down the latest data, the latest observations, getting you all the latest information they need to know. So if you are new here, subscribe to the channel. We're going to have video updates all throughout the weekend here. As such, we provided you a video this morning on this. We're doing live coverage now. We'll have a video again tomorrow, possibly some more live coverage as well. So make sure to do so and like the stream as well by giving it a thumbs up. All right, so let's get back into the precipitation here, and we'll answer some questions momentarily. Let's slide this over a little bit further to the Ohio Valley, because our friends over here are also going to see the brunt of the storm. We're going to fast forward to this to 6 o'clock in the morning here on Sunday. This is for the Ohio River Valley, and notice we are seeing rain across the far southern reaches of Missouri. Narrow swath, but a significant swath of some freezing rain and sleet continuing across areas, again, just south of the Kansas City area. And we're seeing some pretty heavy snow there in Kansas City. St. Louis Metro, we're going to see some pretty heavy snow there as well, 6 o'clock in the morning. Fast forwarding it to noon time frame, it's snowing heavily there in the Quincy, Illinois area, into Springfield, Effingham, and Charleston, there, Eastern Illinois University, and that extends over into southern Indiana. Central, eastern Kentucky. So we're going to initially at noon time frame start to see some pretty heavy snow rates there, falling in the Lexington, Richmond area, and Pikeville in eastern Kentucky. That may extend up as far north as Cincinnati as well, and we could even see some snow extending down into Johnston City in Tennessee. We definitely could be seeing that as well around noon time frame. Let's extend this into the 4 o'clock time frame. Notice it's heavily snowing there in and around the Metro Indy area in Indianapolis. Further south, Evansville, Indiana, we're seeing some freezing rain and sleet, very crippling ice storm developing here for southern Illinois, and this is going to be for several hours. Look at, as we back this up, we're going to see onset of freezing rain and sleet in southern Illinois at 3 o'clock in the morning here on Sunday morning, and we're going to continue to see freezing rain continue all the way through the day. Look at it. This is 12 hours of freezing rain in southern Illinois, southeast Missouri, and southwest Indiana, western Kentucky. Those are the areas that are under that ice storm warning morning, and that is 12 hours of freezing rain and sleet. As we go deeper into the day on Sunday, notice it's still freezing rain. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock on Sunday evening, that is 18 hours worth of freezing rain in southern Illinois. And then notice as we go into the 3 o'clock hour, it is still producing freezing rain and sleet in southern Illinois. So we're going to literally see a 24-hour period of freezing rain in parts of this storm, and that could include southeast Missouri, southern Illinois, parts of Kentucky there, and in southern Indiana. So that is very concerning. Power outages will be likely with this system, if not expected. We are going to see some very significant hazardous ice accumulation, and then on the backside, just to add insult to injury, we're going to have maybe an inch or two of snow over top of that ice. So let's get into the latest on the accumulation. Let's look first at the snowfall accumulation here. And again, I'm not ignoring you folks. We're going to get to the questions here momentarily. But let's look here at the accumulation as far as the snowfall is concerned. And this model is putting out some pretty nice numbers here across the Ohio Valley. These numbers may be a little bit overdone in some areas, but I do want you to know that this model does pretty well in depicting the heavy snow swath. Look at this. We could be seeing literally 12 to 18 inches worth of snow across the majority of northern Missouri into south central Illinois, around the St. Louis metro also included. We could be literally seeing 2 feet of snow in Kansas City with this storm. Extending eastward, Indianapolis, just north of Evansville, kind of in that swath between Indianapolis and Evansville, we could be seeing 12 to 18 inches worth of snow. That extends further east into Cincinnati, Dayton, Ohio, and also Columbus. We could be seeing a foot to foot and a half of snow there as well. It's going to be very tricky in northern Kentucky. We could be seeing a very sharp gradient where we could see either 1 to 2 inch per hour snow rates, and then you go 5, 10, 15 miles south and you run into no snow and all freezing rain and sleet, and that could become that ice storm that we're talking about as well. Extending over into West Virginia, we're looking at a widespread 6 to 10 inches of snow over here, especially into central and northern West Virginia. Into the Pittsburgh area, we could be seeing potentially upwards of 6 to 8 inches worth of snow there. And let's extend over into the mid-Atlantic and notice a lot of these snow totals over here in the panhandle of West Virginia. Northern Virginia could be approaching 6+ inches. And again, this model could be overdone just a bit, but because there's some contamination of the freezing rain and sleet here, but there definitely is the potential in Maryland into Delaware of up to 10 inches worth of snow, and may probably knock some of these numbers down by a couple of inches, but I would say a good 6 to 8 inches there in Maryland. This will include Washington, D.C., the Baltimore area, all the way over here into Delaware. Southern Jersey could be seeing upwards of 6 to 8 inches there as well. Northern Jersey, we're not seeing much snow, maybe a dusting or a coating of snow there. Same thing in Northeast Pennsylvania. We're not expecting much up there either. We're going to see some pretty light snowfall. So that's the snowfall update as well so far. Again, we're going to answer questions. If you guys have individual cities, I don't want county names. I want city names because it's very helpful. If you do, I guess, live in a rural area that is a certain county, I can try do my best to give you the best estimation of the snow ice accumulation, but I want city names, very easy to figure out. I could just look on a map here and give you the best estimate of what you can expect. Let's first, before we do that, let's do the ice accumulation here with this system, because this system really is going to be producing a prolific ice storm, I think, across the parts of the Ohio Valley. So let's look back here in the plains first at Kansas. Majority of the state of Kansas will have a shot at least 1/10 of an inch. As far as you go into eastern Kansas, we could be seeing upwards to 1/4 inch worth of ice, and this is enough to bring down some small tree branches, interrupt some power at times, so some scattered power outages will be possible in eastern Kansas, and it will disrupt travel. It only takes a glaze of ice to produce very slick and hazardous travel, and quite literally dangerous travel as well. So that is most likely there in east central Kansas. We extend into the Tiger State of Missouri, and we're seeing actually some totals, especially as you get into the southeastern part of the state of Missouri, into the Cape Girardeau vicinity and south of Metro St. Louis, where we could be seeing easily 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch of ice here, and that would be crippling for travel, for power as well. So this definitely could be one of those memorable ice storms for southeastern Missouri, southern Illinois, western Kentucky, southern Indiana. One of those memorable ice storms that we don't like to see that could disrupt travel for days, disrupt even some power outages for days or a week at a time. This could really be a big deal across parts of those areas. So let's look here at the Ohio Valley at the ice, because it's not going to stop there in Missouri. We're going to continue to see the ice pile up there in Illinois, down toward Mount Vernon, into the Carbondale area, so SIU down here in Southern Illinois University, into Effingham, and also over into Evansville, Indiana. Those are some of the areas that could be impacted by this significant ice. Traveling further east, Lexington, Richmond, over here to Pikeville, we could be seeing upwards to a quarter, half an inch of ice. Isolated totals upwards to 3/4 of an inch. There may, like I said earlier on in the live stream, right now you're under a winter storm warning. This could get upgraded to an ice storm warning in some of these areas of southern Indiana, more of Kentucky. If we do see the confidence get higher in a more prolific ice storm in these areas, that will be possible as we go deeper here into the day tomorrow. So that will be the trends that the National Weather Service offices there into the St. Louis area, for example, into Indianapolis, Cincinnati, all the Louisville office, all those offices are going to be looking at that into the morning hours tomorrow. So that is what we're going to be seeing. And then the freezing rain will extend over there into West Virginia and Virginia, lessening though with the freezing rain accumulation. The ice accretion is going to be less over here, but still, again, it only takes a glaze, and we are seeing 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch of ice, isolated quarter-inch amounts, especially for western West Virginia there as well. So that's what we're looking at with as far as the winter storm side of things. Before we get to questions and stuff like that and answering all that, let's look at the severe weather side of this system here, and let me move this around a little bit. We are actually expecting a severe weather outbreak across parts of the Deep South, so let's break down the latest and the hazards that those storms will bring and the timing before we answer questions, and I promise we're going to be getting to questions here momentarily. Let's look here. We have an upgrade in the orange to a level 3 out of 5, an enhanced risk of severe weather. This includes the Ark-La-Mis region. So this is into southeastern Arkansas, northeastern Louisiana, and west central Mississippi. This includes portions of the Pine Bluff region down into Monroe, Louisiana, Jackson, Mississippi, Greenville, all the way down to Natchez. We are seeing the potential for some more numerous thunderstorms that could become severe. In the yellow, that's a level 2 out of 5, slight risk that extends as far north as Memphis. Includes the city of Little Rock all the way down into Shreveport, north and east of the Houston metro. This does include Baton Rouge, Alexandria, and Lake Charles, New Orleans, and then all the way over into the first couple of counties there in western Alabama. And then surrounding that in the darker green, that is a level 1 out of 5, a marginal risk of some severe weather, and that extends further east toward Huntsville, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, and getting close to Montgomery there as well. Let's look at what these storms could bring to the table, because the Storm Prediction Center's latest update here earlier on today, this afternoon, upped the ante. There was just a 5% chance of tornadoes earlier. They have upped it now to a 10% chance of tornadoes in the yellow. This includes the Jackson metro into southeastern Arkansas and even the Monroe vicinity. So if you live in these areas, make sure you have plenty of advanced warning, if you will, in these areas for the potential of severe weather and tornadoes. Make sure that you are heeding the warnings. That tornado threat could extend as far north as Memphis as well. And then we're also looking at a pretty decent threat for some damaging winds, upwards 60, 70 miles per hour, especially in these yellow and red shaded colors again. So we're seeing that. And then the hail threat is less. We don't have tons of instability for hail down here, but there is enough instability where we could see some storms producing quarter, half-inch size hail, maybe even a little bit bigger than that, especially closer to the Gulf Coast where the instability will be locally maximized. So that's what we're seeing there. Let's look here at the southern United States briefly, and I promise again we will get to questions. Let's look at the timing with these storms as they move into the areas like Arkansas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. And we're going to use that using the HRRR model here for Sunday. So notice as we go here into Sunday morning, this is 9 o'clock in the morning, warm air advection. Let's go over here to the dew points. Those dew point temperatures are going to be climbing into the upper 50s, low 60s, and that is ripe for severe weather for early January. You have a cold front off to your west. Cold front behind it, we're seeing dew points in the 20s over here in West Texas and teens in the Panhandle. So you know it's a potent front when you're seeing a displacement from teens teens and 20s for dew point temperatures to the 50s and 60s over here out ahead of the front in what we call the warm sector. And looking here at the instability that we have, again, it's not very large, but there are a few hundreds to maybe even 1,000 joules per kilogram. And the higher the number, the higher the chance for thunderstorm fuel and more severe weather that could unfold in this region. So keeping a very close eye on that. One more thing we use is what we call the STP. This is the significant tornado parameter, and basically putting the wind shear, the moisture, and everything into one composite and giving you an idea of the environment of what we could see for tornadoes here. And notice how those numbers climb as we go eastward into Arkansas, Louisiana, and into portions there of Mississippi. And actually, you guys can't even see that. So let me move that up here so you guys can see it. I apologize for that. This is the storm. This is the significant tornado parameter here for southern Arkansas, northern portions of Louisiana, and into western Mississippi. Notice how those values will climb as this moves eastward through the heating of the day, and they will maximize in and around the lower Mississippi, mid-Mississippi Valley region here. So just south and west of Memphis there, into southeast Arkansas, northeastern Louisiana, and west central Mississippi. Those values are approaching 10 out of 10, folks. So that is actually pretty significant. And if we look back here at the reflectivity, the good news is, if there's any silver lining here, that this is likely to be a linear mode of storms. So what that means is a squall line. And usually with squall lines, we see more of those damaging wind events versus tornadoes. Now, with that said, there could still be some brief tornado spin-ups here, and also a couple cells, supercells is what they called, ahead of the main line that could spin up tornadoes as well. So that is something we'll keep an eye on as we move through Sunday. So again, here's Sunday morning around 9 o'clock. We're noticing some storms starting to flare up from Little Rock back here toward Texarkana, and then we start to see by noon time frame those storms get a little bit stronger between Little Rock, Shreveport, and down towards the Houston metro area. Some of these could become tornadic as well. Tornadoes will be in play, as well as damaging winds, some large hail, and of course some heavy rain. As we go into the 3 o'clock hour, and we're going to switch this to the southeast view so you can see it a little bit better as well. And you can see these storms really rocking and rolling here across eastern Arkansas, northern Louisiana, central Louisiana, back toward Houston as well. And some of these leading storms out ahead of the main line, those are supercells. We'll need to watch into western Mississippi, 3 o'clock in the afternoon central time tomorrow. Extend this into 6 o'clock. Very nice squall line, very mature, moving through the Jackson area, Tupelo, all the way down there toward Natchez and in towards areas such as Baton Rouge and Alexandria. 70-mile-per-hour winds will be the main feature with these storms, along with tornadoes. So we're going to keep an eye on that. And then as we go, I think, towards the late evening, this is mainly going to turn into more of a heavy rain, damaging wind threat as the gust front from these storms really gusting out across Alabama. There will still be a chance for tornadoes. The highest chance in Alabama will be in western Alabama. I think these storms will be weakening as they move from west to east across the state of Alabama and into Tennessee. By the time they reach the Atlanta area there on Monday morning, they will just be some heavy rain producers, some frequent lightning producers. Would not be shocked to see some gusty winds and stuff like that, but no tornadoes really expected there in the Atlanta metro as we go in towards your Monday. So that's the breakdown on the winter storm between the cold side and the warm side. So again, I'm going to put this up for one more minute so you guys can see. This is the latest outlook from the Storm Prediction Center for tomorrow. For Sunday, this is the enhanced risk in the orange. The yellow is the slight risk, and the dark green is the marginal here. So level 1, 2, and 3 out of 5 on the risk scale for severe weather. The orange being the highest, the yellow being the medium, and also the green being the lower threat for severe weather. All right. So you guys got any questions? I'm here to answer as many questions as possible. I see some super chats coming in. So let me go and look at that. All right, so let me zoom up here. I see some super chats coming in here. Thank you all for joining. Again, we're going to be answering all your questions now. We're kind of to the Q&A part of it. We did the forecast. All right, so Sarge, thanks for the 5. Owen County, Indiana. So we're going to start looking there in Indiana. So again, if you guys can, please put city names. So for example, if you were in Owen County and you're closer to a city, say for example like Tyler or something like that, or like Evansville or something like that. And if that's in that county, please give me a city name versus a county name. County names sometimes can be very difficult because you're looking at a larger area. So okay, so Owen County, we're looking here in Indiana. This is south and west of Indianapolis. You're going to be on the cold side of the storm up here. And we're looking at generally the chance for some pretty heavy snow that'll be moving through your area. And the good news for you is that this is primarily looking to be like snow for your area. So let's move this up and show you a little better depiction of this. So here we are, southwestern Indiana. So in Owen County, I expect snowfall to begin somewhere around 8, 9 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. It will continue to snow heavily throughout the day, maybe mixing with some sleet and maybe some freezing drizzle at times, but the predominant precipitation type will be snow. And it could be snowing at 1 to 2 inches, maybe even 2.5 inches per hour if the storm can really deepen. Especially the heaviest snow looks like late afternoon. So between about 3 and 6 o'clock, that'll be your heaviest period of snow there in Owen County. And then it looks like we get a warm nose of temperatures that move in on the backside briefly. So some freezing rain and sleet maybe mixing in. It looks like a late evening tomorrow in Owen County for a few hours, and then snow on the backside over top of that. When it's all said and done, we're looking at the potential here of some pretty heavy snow. We're looking at around 12 to 18 inches worth of snow there in the Owen County, Indiana area. So some pretty heavy snow. As far as the freezing rain is concerned, maybe up to 1/10 of an inch of freezing rain and ice accumulation. So mostly snow, 12 to 18 inches, and up to 1/10 of an inch of ice there in Owen County. All right, so thank you for that. Let's see here. Let's move down. Another super chat. We got Tacoma Mike, 2005. Thanks for the $2. Troy, Missouri in Lincoln County. Thank you for providing the county as well, but thank you also for giving me the city name. That is very important. So we're looking at Troy, Missouri here. Troy, Missouri. So you're north and west of St. Louis. So let's go back here, kind of give you a general timing on what we can expect. All right, so you're north and west of St. Louis. Again, very tricky. You're kind of on that line, the dividing line between heavy snow, freezing rain, and sleet. It could be any one of those types beginning out. That's very difficult to say right now. I think it could be a mixture of all three. It could be mostly snow, could be mostly freezing rain or sleet. It's very difficult to say, but right now the onset of precipitation looks to begin anytime around 7 o'clock here this evening or 8 o'clock this evening. That's really just in a few hours. So about 4 or 5 hours from now, precipitation will be beginning. This could begin as snow or even some sleet or freezing rain. It will try to turn over to snow. And sometimes these models, again, are a little difficult to show the dynamic cooling with these systems. The HRRR model that I'm using right here actually does a pretty good job, but just in general, sometimes they underdo the dynamic cooling. So that means maybe more heavy snow could be a factor here. And if that is the case, we could be seeing some pretty heavy snow there for a while. But right now, I think you're really on that line between snow and freezing rain. It's a tough call. But when it's all said and done, as far as snowfall is concerned, we are looking at the potential here in your area really of about 6+ inches, okay? So we're looking at least half a foot of snow for your area, and freezing rain, if it really gets going there, we could be seeing a couple tenths to maybe 1/4 of an inch of ice. So definitely something to watch out for. And I think sleet also is going to be a big deal here. We could be seeing 3 inches of sleet, those ice pellets. So we're going to see a lot of different precipitation in Troy, Missouri, that is for sure. All right, let's get to another chat here. Let's see. I saw another one across the screen here just momentarily. Let's see. We're going to get to the chats first, the super chats first, and with the city names and stuff, and then we're going to get to the general chat here soon. Thank you for the $4.99 MD. Very appreciated. Let's look down here. We got another one that came in earlier on. Bath County, Kentucky. So let's look here at Bath County, Kentucky real quick. All right, trying to give you as much accurate information as possible. Again, we're answering questions, how much snow and ice you can see with this system, and any questions about severe weather, really anything weather related here on this channel. We are definitely going to be answering it about the storm. So if you're here, make sure to slap that like button, the thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel, folks. Definitely appreciate it. We're going to have another weather forecast video out for you tomorrow morning, late morning on Sunday, okay? All right, so let's look at Bath County. This is just east of Lexington, so you're in central or east central Kentucky here. All right, so let's go back to the precipitation. And let's kind of go back here. The precipitation looks to begin in your area. I would say it looks like around 9 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. So that is the timing of this system as we move into central Kentucky. And it's going to start as snow, okay? So we're going to see some wetter snowflakes at 9 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, or sometime thereabout. It's going to snow pretty heavily there for a few hours, and then we're going to start to see a transition from snow to sleet and freezing rain in your area in Bath County, Kentucky, and that will take you through most of the afternoon. And then we may actually briefly see a change over to rain, but it'll be brief, and then it'll be back to freezing rain and sleet, and then maybe some snow there on the backside as we go into early Monday morning for your commute. As far as the accumulations are concerned for your area there, as far as snowfall is concerned, you're kind of on that line too. You could see around 5-6 inches worth of snow, quite a bit of sleet as well. We could be seeing a 1 to 2 inches worth of sleet. So 5 to 6 inches of snow, 1 to 2 inches of sleet there, and freezing rain. It could be prolific. Again, this is an area where I am watching for the potential upgrade to an ice storm warning. Right now you're under a winter storm warning, which is a pretty, that means we're seeing significant ice and snow accumulations. But if the trend is for more ice than snow, I would not be shocked to see Bath County, Kentucky added into that ice storm warning as we go in towards your Sunday. So we'll continue to watch that. But in general, ice could be a big deal. And if it is predominant freezing rain, we could be seeing up to 3/4 of an inch of ice there, according to the HRRR model. So something to watch out for. All right, let's go down here. We got another one coming in. Let's see here. Crystal Reagan, thanks for the $2. Definitely appreciate it. Let's go down to Crystal Thompson. Thanks for the $2. Richland, Missouri forecast, freezing rain already. So let's look here at Richland, Missouri. Trying to do this as quickly as I can because I know we got a lot of folks in here that are wanting to know their snow and ice accumulations. So looking here at that, you're kind of halfway between St. Louis and Springfield, kind of in that vicinity. So we're looking here back at, so yes, you're right. You're already seeing some freezing rain right now, and it looks like it's going to stay freezing rain for a while. There may be some mixture between rain, normal rain, all liquid, and freezing rain at times through the overnight hours, but predominantly, yes, we're going to see some freezing rain and some sleet, and that will take us all the way into Sunday morning at 6 a.m., and we're going to see freezing rain in your area all the way through the whole entire day on Sunday, all the way through 7, 8 o'clock, and then we're going to see some heavier snow on the backside that could pile up to a couple of inches. So as far as snowfall is concerned in Richland, Missouri, it looks like we're going to see anywhere from around 1 to 3 inches worth of snow, so that freezing rain is going to really cut down on those snow totals. And looking at sleet, we could be seeing around 1 to 3 inches worth of sleet accumulation as well, but the ice is really going to be a big deal there. We could be seeing up to a 1/2 inch worth of ice, maybe even locally a 3/4 of an inch of ice in your area there. So that will be enough to disrupt power potentially for days, and also potentially lead to some impossible travel in that area. So make sure you're staying safe there in the Richland, Missouri region. All right, let's get back here. So stay safe there, Crystal Thompson. Definitely looking at a crippling ice storm for your area, unfortunately. Crystal Reagan, thanks for the $2. Definitely appreciate it. Braxton Walters, thanks as well for the $2. Yo, what about Indy? So let's look at Indianapolis here. And again, mostly snowfall. You're on the coldest side of the storm there in Indianapolis. It looks like the snow will begin sometime around early Sunday morning to mid Sunday morning. So we're looking at around 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. You're on the northern side of that snow shield there in Indianapolis, and it's going to snow for the majority of the day. Now, it looks like the heaviest snow on the order of 1 to 2 inches per hour will be moving in as we go into the late afternoon. So between about 3 and 4 o'clock, we're going to start to see the real heavy snow start there in Indianapolis, and it's going to snow heavy for several hours, and then we're going to see a changeover potentially to some sleet and or freezing rain for a couple of hours, and then we're going to finish with snow on the backside here as we go into early mid-morning on Monday. The snow doesn't wrap up until about midday Monday at about noon. So looking here at the snow totals there in Indianapolis, I think that's an area that could potentially see one of the snowiest single-day periods since 2009. If this model is correct, we could be seeing upwards to a foot or more of snow in Indianapolis. I would go for around 12 to 15 inches in your area, and if that is the case, that would make it the single snowiest day on record all the way back to 2009. So that would be one of the snowiest days we've seen in over 15 years in Indianapolis, believe it or not. As far as ice goes, the ice accumulation here for sleet, maybe a half an inch of sleet there in Indianapolis. Freezing rain is mostly going to stay to your south, but I would not be shocked to see a very light glaze of ice. So it's predominantly going to be snow, and it could be some pretty heavy snow there as well, upwards to 12 to 15 inches. Again, that would make it the single snowiest day in Indianapolis since 2009, which would be very incredible. MD, thanks again for the $4.99. Let's look at Bowie, Maryland. So hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Bowie, Maryland here. And let's go over here. That's just east of DC. So we're going to go over to the Mid-Atlantic view here real quick and look at the precipitation for your area. All right, so looks like into your region, we're going to start to see snowfall, and snowfall looks to become the primary precipitation type throughout the entirety of this event for the most part. And for the Bowie area there in Maryland near Washington, D.C., we're going to start to see snow later on tomorrow evening around 10, 11 o'clock, okay? And then we're going to see it snow all night, and snow could be heavy at times going into your Monday morning commute. So it's going to be a very messy commute there into your area, Washington, D.C. included, all the way through 6 o'clock in the morning, and we're going to see some pretty heavy snow, and it looks like maybe some sleet mixing in there in the late morning hours, and then we're going to see a little dry slot move in, and then maybe more snow on the backside later Monday afternoon. As far as snowfall totals are concerned for your area, we could be seeing some pretty heavy snow totals. If the HRRR model is correct, we could be seeing snow totals anywhere from 6 to 12 inches in your area, so you could see as much as a foot of snow in your backyard essentially there in Bowie, Maryland, and also the Washington, D.C. area. As far as sleet is concerned, not too worried about that. Maybe a trace to a tenth of an inch of sleet. Ice is really not a concern for your area at this point. So the precipitation type is mostly going to be snowfall in your area. That is what the concern is right now. And we could be seeing upwards of 6 to 12 inches in your area. So possibly one of the biggest snowstorms in Maryland that we've seen in a few years as well. All right. Let's go back up. We got more super chats coming in here, and let's see. I don't want to miss any. Jesse Bledsoe, $2. Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Yeah, that's an area that I'm concerned with a crippling ice storm. I could just tell you that right off the bat. So look at Cape Girardeau in Missouri here. Again, you're just south of the St. Louis area and down toward Cairo. And let's go back to the Ohio Valley view here. And let's look at the precipitation. So the precipitation in your area, Jesse, is going to start really around the next couple of hours. I apologize. That is my cat. I got to let him out real quick here. So looking here at mid-evening hours, around 9 o'clock, we're going to start to see some snow overspreading your area, maybe a mix of sleet and freezing rain at times. And then it's going to change over, and it's going to be very close. I mean, Cape Girardeau, you're right on that line. The HRRR model is not your friend right now, showing very heavy precipitation, and it's showing some freezing rain. And honestly, Cape Girardeau, you could be seeing freezing rain from literally midnight. So we're going to start a snow around 10 p.m., We're going to snow through midnight, 2 hours of snow, and then we're going to switch over to sleet and freezing rain, and it's going to freezing rain all the way from midnight on Sunday all the way through noon on Sunday, and we're still seeing freezing rain, and we don't even stop with the freezing rain until midnight Monday. You literally could be seeing 24 hours straight of freezing rain and sleet with a few snowflakes mixed in. So this is one of the areas I'm very concerned about for a damaging and crippling ice storm, to be quite frank with you. As far as snow's concerned, really that's to your north. I think if anything, you might see an inch of snow, but those ice totals are really going to cut down on the snow totals. So looking at sleet, honestly, 2 to 4 inches of sleet is on the way, and it looks like freezing rain could be upwards to 3/4 of an inch. We literally could be seeing 3/4 of an inch of freezing rain and ice accumulation there. This could disrupt power for days in Cape Girardeau. Travel will be impossible, especially later Sunday evening, and then we're really just going to see conditions go downhill. And the thing is about this ice storm, folks, that we haven't really talked about in this live stream, anybody that's seeing ice and snow on the ground this weekend, that snowpack back, and that ice is not going anywhere anytime soon. If you look at our future temperatures going all the way through the next couple of weeks in January, we're barely going to get above freezing, if even close to the freezing mark, at least over the next 10 days after the system. So that ice is going to be a major problem long after the storm is gone. So this is really going to cause some major problems in your area. All right, so let's look here at Server Computer. Thanks for the $5. Please cover Flagstaff, Arizona more. We have the worst coverage in the weather world, and we have a ski resort here. We're not worrying. We are going to cover the Flagstaff, Arizona area, but we just want to give the people here that have the most crucial weather forecast as far as ice and snow is concerned, because we have a major winter storm ongoing here in the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, and the Mid-Atlantic. We're not forgetting about you and our friends over there in Flagstaff, but there's not much happening out there right now, so there's not much for me to say. Our focus here is on the winter storm and the severe weather as well in the Deep South. Okay, we're not going to forget about you there in Flagstaff, I promise. If there's anything to report on, we'll report on it here in this channel. Can't leave me here, $2. Thank you so much. What about Loretto, Kentucky? All right, so let's look here at the Loretto area in Kentucky and give you an update on that as well. So you are just south of Louisville there in southwest of Lexington. Yeah, an ice storm is going to be the predominant, freezing rain is going to be predominantly your precipitation type there. We literally could be seeing freezing rain for most of the day on Sunday. So it looks like it starts there in the Loretto area as snow. It'll begin sometime around 9-10 o'clock in the morning and continue to snow for a few hours throughout, say, noon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then switching over to sleet and freezing rain. And that will take you all the way through the evening and overnight hours on Sunday. And we don't wrap anything up until that snow on the backside comes through Monday morning. And it's predominantly going to be an ice threat. So we're looking more so at freezing rain totals that are going to be totaling over a half an inch. And you're in an area as well in Loretto, Kentucky, where right now you're under a winter storm warning. This is what I mentioned for other areas in Kentucky. We could be upgraded in the near term to a ice storm warning if the trends continue to show precipitation totals over half inch of ice. That would qualify for an ice storm warning. So something to really keep an eye on there into the Loretto area. Travel will be impossible. Power outages are likely, and they could last days in your area as well, especially if that higher end ice accumulation, like some of these models are showing in Loretto, continue to show up. That is a concern. All right, let's go down here and see if we have any more super chats. We don't so far, so let's just start. There's so many questions coming in. We're going to try and cover as much as we can here. Let's go look at Columbus, Indiana. That's one of the cities that I saw pop up on here. So Columbus, Indiana, let's update you on that. So snowfall is going to be your predominantly your precipitation type. I can tell you right now they're into the Columbus, Indiana area. As far as timing, Columbus, Indiana, we're going to start to see some snowfall begin around 9 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, and it's going to snow pretty heavily all afternoon. I think the afternoon, evening hours could be really treacherous, impossible travel at times. Snowfall rates 1 to 2 inches per hour. It's going to be tough for the plows to keep up with this. It's going to continue all the way through, and we could actually see a mix of sleet and freezing rain at times early on Monday morning before we finish with snow there, mid-morning there on Monday in Columbus. As far as snowfall is concerned, we're looking at snowfall totals in Columbus anywhere from around 12 to 18 inches. So you're one of those areas that this could be the biggest snowstorm you've seen in several years, which also could be dating back to 2009. So definitely one of the biggest snowstorms in possibly 10, 15 years in your area. That is what we're seeing. So predominantly snow in your area. All right. Cincinnati, Ohio. Yep, Cincinnati, you're going to be snow. Looks like we're getting around 16 inches worth of snow there on average in Cincinnati, so we're expecting some very heavy snow. The ice is going to stay luckily off to your south mostly, but we could still see upwards to 1/10 of an inch of ice there in Cincinnati, so that could definitely make travel very treacherous in the Cincinnati area, especially later in the day on Sunday. Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening in Cincinnati, travel could be impossible. Power outages are possible, but especially off to your south with that ice. All right. Farmington, Missouri. I see Debbie in here saying Farmington, Missouri. So again, I'm trying to get to as many cities as possible here. We're just going to kind of click through these quicker than instead of just talking about these and blabbing on, we're going to kind of just get you to the information. So let's look here at the snowfall totals there into the Farmington area. Right now, we're not seeing much snow. I think you're in that ice storm warning, and I think you're going to see maybe up to an inch or two of snow here as it looks. The sleet around 2 to 4 inches, and then ice accumulation could be up to 3/4 of an inch. It could be a crippling ice storm for Farmington, Missouri. Power outages that could last days. Travel will be treacherous and dangerous, and if not really just impossible in your area. So it's going to be a crippling ice storm there in Farmington. Thank you, Tack Breezy, for the $1.99. Maysville, Kentucky. So let's look here at the Maysville, Kentucky area real quick. So you're just south and east of Cincinnati. Yeah, freezing rain is going to be your big concern there. We could see up to 1/4 of an inch of freezing rain and ice accumulation. Snowfall as well. We could be seeing upwards to 6 inches worth of snow. So 6 inches of snow and looks like about 1/4 inch of ice is your likelihood there. And even some sleet mixing in. So you might see 3 precipitation types there. Sleet, snow, and freezing rain there into the Maysville, Kentucky area. Again, if you are here, make sure to press the like button, as many people as possible. The more people that press the like button, the better, so we get more information out to more and more people. And again, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. We're quickly approaching 110,000 subscribers. Couldn't do it without you, so I really do appreciate it. We're going to have a video forecast out for you tomorrow. That is for sure. All right. Thank you, Majan V, for the $4.99. How is the St. Louis, Missouri looking? St. Louis, we're mostly going to be snow. So we're looking at anywhere from around 6 to 12 inches worth of snow there in the St. Louis area. Some sleet it will mix in. We could see up to an inch or two of sleet, and then freezing rain, maybe up to a glaze to 1/10 of an inch. So we're seeing all 3 precipitation types, but mostly snow in St. Louis. It looks like around 6 to 12 inches will be your most likely bet there in St. Louis for snow. All right, I see Frederick, Maryland on here, so let's go and look here at Frederick, Maryland. I don't know why I keep saying the other one. Yeah, we're looking mostly here at snow in the Maryland area, and it looks like we're going to be seeing anywhere from your north and west. So you're looking at around 8 to 12 inches worth of snow in your area. So you're likely under that winter storm warning, and that's going to be all snow for you. That's some good news. Sleet is going to be off to your south, more so in West Virginia and Central Virginia, and the ice as well is not going to be a big deal. So it looks like mostly a snowstorm, and this could be one of the bigger snowstorms you've seen in Frederick, Maryland in a few years as well, which we could be seeing, again, 8 to 12 inches worth of snow. All right, let's get to more questions here. Shelbyville, Kentucky. So let's look here at Shelbyville, Kentucky. So the Shelbyville area, we're seeing the potential of some pretty crippling ice, it looks like, back in your area. So let's go back here to the Ohio Valley view. Whoops, not that one. We're looking at not much snow for you. We may see a couple of inches of snow, but I think the sleet and freezing rain totals will really cut down on the snow totals there. We could be seeing 1 to 3 inches of sleet, and we are likely to see the potential of a damaging or a crippling ice storm. We could be seeing upwards of a 1/2 inch of ice in your area. And you're also in that area in Shelbyville, Kentucky, in which you're under a winter storm warning. This could be upgraded to a ice storm warning tomorrow. If trends continue to show this thick of ice across Kentucky, this could be a major issue. So we're looking upwards of a 1/2 inch of ice, 1 to 3 inches of sleet, and a few inches of snow. So you could see all 3 precipitation types there. Carmel, Indiana. I see Carmel, Indiana. Let's look at that as well. So Carmel, Indiana, let's move a little bit further to the north. You are just north out of the city circle there of Indianapolis, and you're going to be all snow with this system. So that is for sure. We're looking at anywhere from around 12 to 18 inches of snow for you. So we're looking at a very heavy snowstorm for the Carmel, Indiana area. So you're going to need your plow, your snowblower, and your shovels for sure, and all that salt. And we're going to see a lot of snow from this system. So get ready for about a foot of snow for your area. That is most likely, possibly even as much as 18 inches. It looks like the snow in your area begins in Carmel. It looks like around the late morning, so 11 o'clock in the morning, and it's going to snow heavily. The heaviest of snow will be in the afternoon and the evening. We may briefly mix with sleet, but it's mostly going to be snow there in Carmel, Indiana, and it's not going to wrap up. So once it starts snowing there around 11 o'clock in the morning or so, we're not going to see it stop snowing until about 9 o'clock in the morning or 11 o'clock in the morning again on Monday. So we have a 24-hour period of snow there, and that's why we're going to be seeing the 12 to 18 inches. Clarksville, Tennessee. Yeah, we haven't talked about Tennessee yet, so let's look here at Tennessee, the Clarksville region. We're mostly going to see, you're in northwest Tennessee, and down here in Tennessee, we're mostly going to be looking at a concern as far as rainfall. Clarksville's mostly going to be rain. Now, there's going to be a couple waves of rain, so let's walk you through that real quick. Clarksville, we're going to see some moderate rain, some heavy downpours coming in, maybe a little bit of freezing drizzle at the onset there around 8 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. That'll be all rain from there on out. We'll have some dry periods around midday, around noon, 1 o'clock. And then here comes the cold front, and this could produce some thunderstorms, and 1 or 2 of these thunderstorms could be strong. So we could be seeing a 60-mile-per-hour wind gust, quarter-size hail, maybe even a brief tornado threat, especially off to your south and west. The more you get toward Jackson, Tennessee, and Memphis, the tornado threat will start to go up gradually. And but we could be seeing a strong line of storms that'll come through anytime between about 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock there tomorrow later in the day. And then once that comes through, you could have some snow showers on the backside Monday morning, but that's not going to amount to much. If we look at snow totals, the Clarksville region could see maybe a dusting of snow, maybe even a half an inch of snow. That's very possible on the backside of the system. A half an inch of snow in Clarksville is possible. You're welcome, Mia's Graham. Thanks for joining. Bluffton, Indiana. So let's look at the Bluffton area. Again, folks, don't spam the chat, please. I know there's a lot of people in here wanting to know some information. I'm trying to get to as many cities as I can. The Bluffton area, you're just south of Fort Wayne. We're going to see a little bit less of snow than you'd say in like Indianapolis or the Carmel area that we just looked at. Bluffton, we're looking at anywhere from around 1 to 3 inches with an isolated 4-inch amount. So we're looking at 1 to 3 inches with isolated 4-inch snow totals. It's going to be all snow in your area, and it looks like mostly starting around, the snow really won't start until about the early evening hours there on Sunday. It'll snow for a few hours, and it'll be pretty light snow in your area. And it'll wrap up around early Monday morning. So 1 to 3 inches, isolated 4-inch totals there in the Bluffton, Indiana area. Canton, Ohio. I see Mark coming in with Canton, Ohio. So let's look here at that. The Canton, Ohio area, yeah, we're looking here at some snowfall for your area. Let's first look here at the totals, and we're going to look at the Canton, Ohio area. Looks like roughly, trying to see, you're looking at as well roughly around 2 to 4 inches worth of snow. So we're looking at a lighter snow event for you. 2 to 4 inches. Maybe if this storm literally tracks another county north than what this model's showing, you could go from 2 to 4 inches to easily seeing 6 to 12 inches of snow very quickly. So it's all about the track of the system. Okay, if it wobbles south, you'll see less. If it wobbles north, you'll see more. If it stays the same, it'll be right now what it looks like around 2 to 4 inches worth of snow in the Canton, Ohio area. Again, folks, if you are just joining, make sure to subscribe to the channel for the latest weather information. Again, we are approaching 110,000 subscribers. Thank you all so much. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to do so and turn on all post notifications. Turn them all on so you get the latest live streams and video coverage on this channel. We're going to do another weather forecast video tomorrow morning, late morning, and then possibly another live stream in the afternoon. Dayton, Ohio, yeah, the Dayton area could be seeing anywhere from around, it looks like 12 inches of snow. Looks like a good foot of snow there in the Dayton area as well. So if you're in Dayton, Ohio, we're looking at around a foot of snow. Let me see if I can bring up a better graphic here so we can include some cities here. So let me go to the HRRR on the Pivotal Weather here. This other weather app. And see if I can go down to the local view. Yeah, there's Dayton there. So let me go down here. Okay, so there's Dayton. The HRRR model is giving you 15.5 inches. So yeah, you're in that 12 to 18 inch range there, like I mentioned in Dayton. And let me make sure you can see that. You can. Okay. So there you go in Dayton, Ohio. We got about 15.5 inches of snow on the way. We're going to use this graphic a little bit better so you can see some of the city names here. So here's some of the city names, okay? We got Newark, Ohio. We're at about 12 inches of snow. Wheeling over here, we got 12 inches. Lancaster up there toward Columbus, we're looking at around 14 inches worth of snow. Delaware, Ohio, we're looking at 12 inches. Troy, all the way down to Dayton, we're looking at anywhere from 12 to 18 inches, but on average, we're seeing around 15. And then Cincinnati, we're looking at around 12 to 18 inches of snow in the Cincinnati area. So we're looking at a lot of snow there in Cincinnati. Let's move this over to the west, in towards Illinois and Indiana. Some of the cities in here. Again, look at this. This model is showing 12 to 18 inches or even 19 inches in Indianapolis. This would make it the snowiest single day in Indianapolis since 2009. And possibly, I would have to look at the records, but this may be the single snowiest day ever in the city. I would have to look. The Terre Haute area, we're looking at around 17 inches. Bloomington, Indiana, 20 inches of snow. So we're going to be approaching 2 feet in some of these areas. Muncie looks like around 13 inches. Lafayette, around 9.5 to 10. Fort Wayne, we're looking at around 3 inches on average. If you're up here in Kankakee, Illinois, we're looking at 2 inches or so, 1 to 2 inches there. And let me kind of adjust this a little bit. So there's Kankakee up to the north. Champaign-Urbana, we're looking at 16 inches. And look at the gradient here, folks. 16 inches is expected for snow in Springfield, in the capital of Illinois. You go north to Peoria, and you're barely getting 3 inches of snow. You go north from there, the Davenport Quad Cities area, going to see nothing. So we're not going to see any snow up there. Maybe a flurry or two at most. St. Louis, 9.3. Quincy, look at that, checking in around 21 inches. So we could be seeing close to 2 feet of snow in Quincy, Illinois. Let's look further east into Maryland here, some of the cities around Maryland. We're going to kind of give you a little bit of a tour around here. So Cumberland, we're looking at 12.5. Winchester, around 11. Hagerstown, all the way down to Frederick. Reisterstown, also Germantown. We're looking all of those town names here, around 9 to 10 inches. South Bel Air, around 10. Baltimore, big city of Baltimore there, looking at around 11 inches of snow. If you round that up, looks like 10.5, 11 inches. Laurel, all the way down to Washington, D.C., we're looking at 10 inches. Annapolis, we're looking here at 12 inches. So the state capital there of Maryland, in Annapolis, we're looking at about a foot of snow on the way. Here, let's see if I can move it over a little bit more. How far over does it go? All right, so if we're looking at New Jersey now, if we're looking over here at New Jersey, I'm going to move this up a little bit so you can see it a little better. So here's New Jersey. There's New York City. Yeah, New York City, you're not going to see much, maybe an inch of snow at most. Same thing in Long Island, going to see a dusting to a half an inch. Bridgewater down to Long Branch. This is in New Jersey. We could be seeing up to 2-3 inches. Trenton looking at about 5 inches of snow for you. Toms River 5.3. Philadelphia, big city of Philadelphia there, about 6.5 inches of snow. Wilmington 8 inches. Vineland 9, and Dover in Delaware could be seeing 12.2 inches worth of snow. Looks like about a foot of snow there in the Dover area is what we're seeing currently for that. So if anybody is in here from Dover, Delaware, looking at a foot of snow. Yes, I can show Virginia. So let me go down here and try to show Virginia. All right, well, let's see if I can do a little better. There's Virginia. The Richmond area, we're looking at around 4 inches. So if you live in Richmond, Virginia, we're looking at 4 inches. Harrisonburg, around 9 to 10. Charlottesville, 8. Roanoke, about 3.5 or so. The further south you go in Virginia, is going to be more ice, okay? So we're looking at the ice down there. We could be seeing maybe a couple hundredths of an inch to a tenth of an inch of ice in Roanoke, and then down the spine of the Appalachians toward Asheville in North Carolina, we could be seeing over a quarter inch of ice in some of these areas. And here's the concern. Let's look at city by city here. Look at some of these ice totals, folks. This is ice. This is not snow. Let me see. Let me kind of bring this down a little for you. Here's some of the cities with the ice storm threat. You can see Cape Girardeau up there, just on top of me. We're looking at around 0.39. That's approaching a half an inch of ice. That's over 3/10 of an inch, approaching half an inch of ice. Carbondale up there looks like 0.53. That's a half an inch of ice. We're definitely seeing some very, very heavy icing there. That's a crippling ice storm if I've seen one. Evansville, look at that. 3/4 of an inch of ice. Might as well say that. 0.7 inches. Elizabethtown in Kentucky, 0.65. That's between a half inch and 3/4 of an inch of ice. Louisville, looking at almost half an inch of ice, is 0.44. Lexington, Fayette, all the way over here into the Richmond area, we're looking at around a half an inch of ice. Paducah, quarter inch of ice. There's Paducah. I'm going to pull it over a little bit. So there's Clarksville. We were just talking about Clarksville there. There could be some freezing drizzle, freezing rain, freezing drizzle earlier in the day before it turns to all rain. Excuse me. I'm drinking too much water. We could be seeing maybe a light glaze of ice. Other than that, Bowling Green, couple hundredths of an inch. Somerset, Pikeville, couple hundredths of an inch. Huntington up there, about a quarter inch of ice. You go further south from there into Cookeville and Nashville, and we're not really looking at much of ice. It's going to be all rain. Let's look back here into Missouri, because looking very crippling for ice back here as well. Kansas City could be seeing as up to a quarter inch of ice here, but mostly snow in your area. Topeka up to 2/10 of an inch. Clinton here in western Missouri could be seeing up to around a half inch, 3/4 of an inch of ice. Rolla just approaching a half inch of ice there. But you go further southwest, look at Joplin down here. Joplin and Springfield, we're looking at maybe a couple traces to a couple hundredths of an inch of ice down there in Joplin and Springfield. Yeah, I just saw something about Bloomington, Illinois. So let's go back there and look. Let's switch this around here. So Bloomington, there's the ice. Bloomington, Illinois, you're kind of in that, you're right here. Bloomington, Illinois, we're looking at an average around 6 to 8 inches. So 6 to 8 inches worth of snow in the Bloomington area. Very sharp cutoff, though. I do want to note, if you're in Bloomington, Illinois, there's a very sharp cutoff here, and let me bring it down so you can see a little better. There's I-39. There's I-39 north-south. You got 74. You got 57. We are looking here at Peoria around 3 inches, but there's a sharp cutoff. If this storm wobbles just a county south, you're going to go from anywhere from 6 to 8 inches in Bloomington to almost nothing. If this goes north by a county or two, you could go from 6 to 8 inches to over a foot of snow very quickly. So you're kind of on that cutoff line, the very sharp cutoff line. It's very tricky in this as well. So Bloomington, you're kind of that dividing line right now. All right, we got some more super chats coming in here. Let me see. I didn't want to miss any. Thank you for helping us all from Elizabethtown, Kentucky. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Spring, for the $5. Very, very helpful. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. There's Elizabethtown. Yeah, 5 inches is what we're seeing there for snow. And as far as ice goes there in Elizabethtown, yeah, crippling ice storm. This is the kind of ice you don't want to see. We could be seeing over a half an inch, 3/4 of an inch of ice there in the Elizabethtown area. So it could be a very crippling ice storm. And it's really kind of following the Ohio River here. So Paducah up to Evansville, Louisville, Cincinnati. It's kind of, that ice storm is going to kind of follow, I don't know why I say follow the Ohio River. Yeah, there's a lot of big cities that are impacted here by this snow and ice storm. That is for sure. Definitely looking at some tricky travel going into the weekend. Hey, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel by pressing that subscribe button. And we are only 200 people away from 110,000. You know, help me get there. We only need 200 more people to subscribe, and we'll reach that goal of 110,000 subscribers. I really do appreciate it. Oops, excuse me. I just knocked my entire mic over, of course. If you guys heard a loud bang, that was just me knocking my mic over on accident. My bad. Goodness gracious. Let's see here. Princeton, West Virginia. So we're going to go through your individual questions again here. So just put your city names in. We'll get you the information that you need. I'll try to get to as many as I can. Can't guarantee I'll get to everybody's. There's a lot of people here, and almost 2,000 people in the live stream. Princeton in West Virginia. We're looking here at... All right, let's move over here. All right, so you're down here. You're looking at maybe 1/10 of an inch of ice. As far as snow goes, you're looking at anywhere from around 1 to 3 inches. Okay, so 1/10 of an inch of ice and 1 to 3 inches. I imagine you're probably in a winter weather advisory at this point. That would be a guess. And I'm going to actually look on my maps over here on my laptop to confirm. No, you're in a winter storm warning. Okay, so you're in a winter storm warning. That's probably because of the combination of ice and snow. So, yeah. Terre Haute, Indiana. Okay, so let's go over here. Terre Haute. I think we already answered this briefly. There's Terre Haute. We're looking at 17 inches of snow for Terre Haute. As far as ice goes, that's going to be maybe up to 1/10 of an inch or so of ice, maybe 2/10 of an inch. Okay, so we're going to start as snow in Terre Haute, and then we're going to end as some ice and then turning to snow on the backside. But yeah, it looks like on average around 17 inches of snow there in Terre Haute, Indiana. Loveland, Ohio. Northeast of Cincinnati. So let's move this over to the east again. So you're looking at around 12 to 18 inches. So you're looking at a solid 1.5 feet of snow. So about 18 inches for you in the Loveland area. As far as ice goes, we're not looking at much, maybe a light glaze of ice. So mostly snow there in Loveland. I'm honestly surprised nobody's had a question about severe weather yet that live in the deep south. But I understand a lot of you folks are worried about the ice and the snow, which is, you know, rightfully so. I understand. Kokomo, Indiana. So we're going to look at Kokomo, Indiana there. Yeah, so you're north of Indianapolis. So let's go back to the west. Sorry, folks, I'm jumping around. I'm just answering questions at this point. You're looking at, it looks like around 6 to 12 inches of snow. So 6 to 12 inches worth of snow. That was my cat meowing. I apologize. Come on, if you're coming in. Yeah. He has something to say about that. All right, so north of Indianapolis, we're looking at 6 to 12 inches worth of snow, and that would be in the Kokomo area. Here, let's see if I can get him up here real quick. Come here, buddy. Look at everybody. He's like, I don't even want to be up here. His name is Loki. All right. Hamilton, Ohio. we're just north and west of Cincinnati. Yeah, you're in the 12 to 18 inches. So 12 to 18 inches worth of snow in the Hamilton area. And we're going to move that over to show you that. So you're roughly up here. So you're looking at 17, 18 inches worth of that snow up there. So there's Cincinnati. You're just to the north there. Irving, Texas, you're going to see all rain with this. And honestly, I don't even know. Let me see. Yeah, you're going to see some rain, and you might not see a lot of rain at all with this storm down there in the Irving area. St. Louis, Missouri. Again, we've already covered this area several times, but we'll go back. St. Louis looking at around 9 inches or so of snow. As far as ice goes, we're looking at around 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch. If you're on the south side of the metro, you're looking at 2/10. If you're north of the metro, you're looking at a few hundredths of an inch or light glaze. Downtown area, St. Louis, 1/10 of an inch. Just to kind of give you the rundown there. And 9 inches of snow. Kansas City, look at that, folks. St. Joseph could be the winner up here. St. Joseph, Missouri, back toward Topeka or just north of Topeka, Kansas. Yeah, look at that snow total up there, folks. We could be seeing 2 feet of snow up in St. Joseph, Missouri. And it looks like 18 inches roughly there in the Kansas City metro. And as far as ice goes, we could be seeing upwards to 1/4 inch of ice, or at least 2/10 of an inch of ice there in Kansas City. Same thing in Topeka. St. Joseph seeing less ice, maybe a glaze. But yeah, look at that. 2 feet of snow there into St. Joseph is a possibility with this storm. A lot of northeastern Kansas there, north of Topeka towards St. Joseph, Missouri, could be seeing up to 2 feet of snow with this storm. Very significant. I have a question about Boston, Massachusetts in here. Okay, we'll take it over and look at that. Boston's up here. We're not seeing much. This goes all the way through Monday afternoon. So there's Boston. 0. Nada. We're not seeing any snow up there in the Boston area. Not with this storm. There will be plenty of storms, so don't lose hope. There's plenty of opportunities for snow between now and the end of winter. So even if Boston isn't seeing much out of this, there's definitely some chances down the road that by the middle and end of January that could present some snow chances in Boston and Worcester and also in the Springfield area. So don't lose hope yet. South Dakota's not seeing much out of this. South Dakota is way too far north for this storm, so nothing. Martin, thanks so much for the super chat. Appreciate it. Thanks for supporting the channel. Georgetown, Kentucky. So we're seeing Georgetown, Kentucky come in here as well. Let's flip on over to the Georgetown area, and this is, again, just north of Lexington. So we're looking at around 6 to 10 inches for your area. So 6 to 10 inches worth of snow. As far as ice is concerned, we're looking at a pretty significant ice storm as well, maybe up to 1/4 inch of ice. So 6 to 10 inches of snow and 1/4 inch of ice there. You're probably going to be on the lower end of that 6 to 10 inches just by looking at some of the ice totals. It's going to cut down. The freezing rain and sleet is definitely going to cut down on some of the snow totals. That could be up over 6 inches. So that's what we're looking right now at. My cat is playing the in and out game. You know how that goes. So we're looking here at, let's see, did somebody say something about Louisville? Yeah, if you said something about Louisville, I thought I saw something here. Yeah, we're looking at around 1/2 inch worth of ice in Louisville. The snow, we're not seeing as much snow in Louisville because of ice, but we're still seeing the chance. It says 9 inches. I tend to say no. I think this is going to be probably more like 6 inches of snow in Louisville and about 1/4 inch of ice. Because that's just going to cut down. The freezing rain, folks, is just going to cut down on a lot of the ice total, or a lot of the snow totals in these areas, especially on the southern side. Look at the gradient here. big gradient. You see where these maroon reds are? That's a foot of snow or more, and then it cuts down to like the purples briefly and then the blues. It's just because of the freezing rain. All right. Let's look here at... All right, we got more super chats coming in, so I appreciate the generosity here. Or at least I thought I saw a super chat coming in. That might have been from earlier. Again, I appreciate everybody supporting the channel. Thank you so much for all the super chats and the generosity and being here as well. If you are here, again, make sure to press that like button, the thumbs up button down below. It really does help out. We're almost to 1,000 likes. Also, subscribe to the channel. Latest update right now on the subscriber count on this channel. We are, let's see here, 230 people away. Okay, folks, we are 230 away from being at 110,000. So if you have not subscribed, make sure to do so. We got a video coming out tomorrow. Chicago. Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't had a Chicago question yet until now. We're looking really at about a dusting to a half an inch of snow in Chicago, not looking at much. All right, so folks, we're going to go back here and update you on the forecast, okay? So let's update you on the latest information as far as the alerts go for anybody that's new on here. So we're going to go back through and update you on the latest forecast as some of these alerts have updated. So here are the alerts as far as the winter storm is concerned for Sunday to Monday. Again, if you're looking at the purple shaded color here, this is a winter weather advisory. This extends back into the Black Hills of the Dakotas, especially in South Dakota, much of Nebraska there, including the Nebraska Panhandle, eastern Colorado, and all the way down into northwest Oklahoma and the extreme northeastern Texas Panhandle. Those are winter weather advisories. In the pinks, extending from southeast Nebraska, west central Kansas, all the way east to the eastern seaboard of Maryland and Virginia. Those are, in the pink, winter storm warnings. That is where significant snow and ice can be expected. In the purples are the violet shaded color here, including Cape Girardeau, Carbondale, Paducah. We are looking at the potential of some significant crippling ice. Those are ice storm warnings. And then where we have a combination of heavy snow and some gusty winds over 40 miles per hour, those in the orange are blizzard warnings extending from Kansas City and St. Joseph, Missouri, all the way back here into Topeka and into central portions of Kansas. That's where we could have that heavy deformation snow band set up, and that is where we are likely to see those 40 mile per hour wind gusts. Let's go back here and look at the central view again and kind of show you that. We're looking at the potential for a blizzard actually into portions of Kansas there. We're going to start as freezing rain, but look at that. As we go into 4 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, very heavy snow. And while it's snowing, if we look at the wind component here, winds will be gusting over 30 and 40 miles an hour here. And this model in particular has even some wind gusts bullish up to close 50 miles per hour, all the way down toward Tulsa as we go there in towards the morning hours on Sunday. So it's going to be a very gusty day of winds there. That is for sure. Then we got Then we got severe weather on the southern side here. This is another update for those of you that are just seeing it for the first time or seeing it again from earlier. This is another update. Again, the Storm Prediction Center has a level 3 out of 5. An enhanced risk of severe weather from southeast Arkansas into northeast Louisiana and west central Mississippi. This does include areas such as Monroe, Louisiana, down into Greenville, Natchez, and Jackson, Mississippi. And Jackson, Mississippi would be one of the bigger cities, as well as Monroe, Louisiana, in this enhanced risk area for tomorrow. This could include a tornado chance. We do have a chance for tornadoes here if we zoom it in a little bit. We do have some cities in here like Jackson, Mississippi, and Monroe as well that are in that tornado risk 10%. Greenville, Natchez, those areas are all in that 10% chance of tornadoes. And that tornado threat extends all the way to the Gulf Coast and as far north as Little Rock and Memphis at a 2% in the dark green. I see somebody requesting about Charleston, West Virginia. Yeah, we have covered that quite a few times, but I can go back and look here. Charleston, West Virginia, most of the state of Virginia is actually under a winter storm warning, except for parts of the panhandle of West Virginia and very far northern West Virginia up there towards Pittsburgh. All right. Just one second, folks. I got somebody requesting me to look at Charleston, West Virginia. All right, so there's Charleston, West Virginia. We're going to go down here and look at snow totals. Charleston, West Virginia, it's going to be very tough. Right now, it's looking at around 8 inches worth of snow here. So 8 inches worth of snow in Charleston. And as far as freezing rain goes, we're looking at 1 to 2/10 of an inch of freezing rain. So a couple tenths of an inch of freezing rain, and we're looking at about 8 inches of snow in the Charleston area. So pretty significant snow event for your area, as well as some decent freezing rain. All right. Edwardsville, Illinois. I think that's down by St. Louis, if I'm not mistaken. So Edwardsville, Illinois. Let's go over here and look. Yes, St. Louis Metro, again, we covered this a few times, but if you're new here, again, we're looking at around, looks like 6 to 12 inches there for the Edwardsville area. As far as ice goes, we're looking at around 1/10 of an inch of ice. So 1/10 of an inch of ice and 6 to 12 inches of snow for Edwardsville. This goes all the way through Monday at midday and noon. Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, we're looking at around 1 foot of snow. So you can see Pittsburgh there, in the very close to my screen. Am I doing that wrong? Right there. I don't know. I can't point. 1 foot of snow there in Pittsburgh is what I'm getting at. So there's Pittsburgh. Couldn't even point. Altoona. This is into Pennsylvania. Altoona, about 8 inches, 8.5. State College, Pennsylvania, about 5.7. So might as well say about 6 inches. Grove City over to St. Mary's and Williamsport, good 2 to 4, maybe isolated 5-inch totals. Somerset, this is down there further to the south and east of Pittsburgh, looking at around 1 foot. And Harrisburg into Pennsylvania, over here on the far right-hand side of the screen, that is about 6-7 inches worth of snow in Harrisburg. This goes all the way through Monday. Hey, folks, we are just 101 people. Only 100 or so people away from 110,000. Thank you guys so much. We're almost to our goal for the day. I appreciate it. And we're almost to our like goal for the live stream. We're at 808 likes. Hey, folks, if you have not liked the live stream, please give me a like. Since I've been giving you this information, definitely helps out. Subscribe to the channel, especially if you want a reliable, accurate weather forecaster. You got it here. So we're going to be doing a video tomorrow in the morning, giving you an update on this winter storm. As far as weather alerts go, snow and ice totals, severe weather update, and looking at the weather pattern heading into the middle of January. Which will also, by the way, folks, if you're not seeing snow in Texas, I assure you, again, I know it's several days out. We're not going to show it on the live stream, but go check out my video from today. At the very end of the video, we were talking about the potential of a second winter storm going into the later portion of next week, between Thursday and Saturday next week. That could pan out, and if it does, it could give us some wintry mix or snow down as far south as North Texas, believe it or not. So we got the cold air in place, so that could be very interesting. Dallas, Texas is not going to see snow with this. We're not going to even investigate how much snow we could see in Dallas with the second storm that could happen later next week, because it's just too far out and there could be several changes between now and then. It's not a slam dunk we see a winter storm there in Dallas, but definitely increasing confidence in that. by the middle of next week or so. Havana, Illinois. Yes, we can do Havana. So let's look at Havana, Illinois. Okay, so you're just south and west of Peoria. So we're going to go back over here and change this to that. All right, so you're right on the line. I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. You're on the line. You're in one of those deals, just like we said earlier with Bloomington, Illinois. You're kind of on the line. If this storm wobbles just a little bit further south, you're barely getting any snow. Okay, if this stays the same, you're looking at around 6 inches. Okay, that's what we're looking at now, around 6 inches. If this stays the same as this graphic, which it most likely won't, but just the best guidance that we have, around 6 inches. If this wobbles south, you're getting not much of anything, maybe a ½ inch. If this wobbles north, you could get a foot of snow easily. So you're kind of on that line. But we do know it's going to be all snow. You're not going to see much, if any, freezing rain or anything like that. So that's some good news about that storm for you in Havana. All right. Hot Springs, Virginia. So let's zoom in over here into Virginia. This is northwestern Virginia. Hot Springs. And I went too far north, of course. So you're way up here. You're looking at around a solid 6 to 10 inches of snow in your area. So 6 to 10 inches of snow, and as far as ice goes, you're going to see probably nothing. So it looks like just all snow for your area and 6 to 10 inches worth of snow up there into northwestern Virginia. Hey, Joe Walls, thank you. Kearney, Nebraska. So let's look here at Kearney. Or Kearney? Hopefully I said that right. I don't know why I said Kearney. Is it Kearney or Kearney, Nebraska? I always have people telling me it's Kearney, and then other people say it's Kearney. I try my best. We'll just say that. Southern Nebraska. All right, southern Nebraska, let's move this over there. We haven't talked much about Nebraska, actually, surprisingly. There it is, Kearney. We're looking there at about 5.6 inches, so getting close to 6 inches worth of snow there in the Kearney area. And not that far off to your south and east of that, Kearney and Grand Island, we're looking at over a foot. So that's right over the Nebraska-Kansas state line. That's where we'd be seeing over that foot. That's where that kind of maroon red shaded color is. That is a foot plus of snow in your area. Maybe a glaze of ice, but not looking at a big ice storm there for Kearney. So that's some good news. Centerview, Missouri. We're looking at a major ice storm for you. It looks like. Let's see. I could be wrong. Might as well not speculate. Yeah, it looks like a pretty major ice storm for you. Anywhere from around 2 to 4 inches of snow, but major ice, we could be seeing anywhere from a quarter to ½ an inch worth of ice in your area. So some very significant ice for your region is a possibility with this storm. That's looking like some pretty hazardous ice conditions. That is for sure. Again, thank you all for joining. If you have not yet, make sure to like the live stream, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel. Definitely appreciate it. Just a quick update. Again, we are currently 78 people away from reaching 110,000. Okay, so we are 78 people away, and I know we can do it here in the next few minutes. So if you have not subscribed, make sure to do so. I definitely appreciate it. Like the live stream. We're almost at 1,000 likes. Pennsylvania Outdoors, thank you for the $9.99. Pittsburgh here, just discovered you. You're doing an awesome job, man. I'll definitely be chiming in. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much, PA Outdoors. I'm assuming that means Pennsylvania Outdoors. Thank you so much for the generosity of your $9.99 super chat and for supporting the page. Really do appreciate it. Thank you. Hope you're having a great weekend out there. Pittsburgh, again, just to update you since you sent in a super chat. The Pittsburgh area, again, we're looking at maybe a, decent snow. Maybe a foot of snow. It could be on the way there in the Pittsburgh area. Okay, so there's Pittsburgh. Looks like around a foot of snow could be on the way for you. Not really looking at a nice storm there in Pittsburgh. But again, just to update you on that, Pittsburgh, about a foot of snow is on the way. So you're going to definitely need your shovels, snow blowers, and plows over there once we go into Monday afternoon for sure. Keatsville, Missouri. So let's look at the Keatsville, Missouri area. Yeah, we're looking at a big snowstorm there for you. You're just east of Kansas City. And we're looking at easily, it looks like 1 to 2 feet of snow, to be quite honest with you. Anywhere from 12 to 24 inches of snow. And it looks like you honestly could see up to 2 feet of snow. There's some guidance here showing potentially 24, 25, 26 inches at most. So it's gonna be a big snowstorm for you there in the Keatsville region. So make sure you are ready for a lot of snow to shovel out there on Monday. That is for sure. Randallstown, Maryland. Okay, so you're just outside of Baltimore. Okay. I don't think I did that. Did I do that right? Where's that at? Okay, there. Southern. Let me go to the regional view here. Okay, so this is better. Looking here at your area, just north and west of Baltimore. Yes, we're looking at around 10 inches. So it looks like 6 to 12 inches of snow in general coming your way, but 10 inches is looking pretty likely. So that is in the Randallstown, Maryland region. Morganfield, Kentucky. Thank you, Angel, for sending that in. So Morganfield, Kentucky. Yeah, it looks like a very big ice storm on the way in there for your area. Looks like 3/4 of an inch of ice. Looks like 0.71 inches in your area in general. So yeah, a big ice storm is on the way. This could definitely cause some power outages, and it could last a couple of days. Some very extensive power outages across this region, and this definitely will make the roads almost impassable, if not impassable. This is going to be very crippling ice. They're going to be weighing down those even large tree branches in your area, making for a dangerous situation in the Morganfield, Kentucky region. James Conley, thanks for joining. Dover, Delaware. Yep, we can do that for you. No ice over there in Dover, Delaware, but in the Dover area, we're looking at around a foot of snow. Okay, so a foot of snow in Dover, Delaware is what we're looking at. Cincinnati, Ohio, we're looking at around 18 inches of snow. So I see Elvis in here saying Cincinnati, Ohio. There you go. You got 18 inches of snow on the way. And a little bit of ice as well, but mostly snow there in Cincinnati. How much, I see Neil Berry saying how much snow for Indianapolis. This could be a doozy there. We could be seeing 20 inches of snow in Indianapolis with the storm. So I would say anywhere from 12 to 24 inches in Indianapolis. A lot of the guidance showing 18 to 20 inches. So this could be the biggest single-day snow event for Indianapolis since 2009. This could be one of the biggest snowstorms we've seen since 2009 there in Indianapolis. That's the way it's looking. Hey, folks, we are just 42 people away from 110,000 subscribers. We are getting so close, folks. Thank you so much. When I started this YouTube channel, never thought I could get over 100,000 subscribers. had a lot of knowledge, but you know, it's tough to build a channel on here, and you guys are making that dream a reality. So I really do appreciate it. Thank you for subscribing to the channel and helping me build my channel to reach more people. That is the goal on here, is to reach as many people as possible with accurate and reliable weather information, and to save lives essentially here. So what we're doing on here is answering questions to hopefully get you the best information that you need, whether it's talking about heavy snow, ice, or severe weather. We got you covered. I also cover the tropics on this channel. So tropical weather season, you're going to see my face right here. We're going to be talking about hurricanes, tropical storms, and stuff like that. So, and I cover all of North America, believe it or not, but I mostly focus my attention on southern Canada, the United States, and the tropics, but we do cover from time to time northern Canada and talking about bigger weather pattern changes and stuff. So thank you all for definitely subscribing to the channel and bringing that reality here. And helping me build my channel. Appreciate it. Thanks for subscribing. Kelsey Fletcher, subscribe. Centralia, Illinois. Okay, yep, that's down south. I live in northern Illinois, so we're not getting any snow up here from this storm. Yeah, Centralia, we're looking at some pretty heavy snow down in your area in Centralia, Illinois. In general, we are looking at some, it looks like around 4 to 7 inches, but I do think the ice threat is going to be there. We could be seeing a 1/4 inch of ice down there in Centralia, east southeast to St. Louis there. Looks like a pretty big deal, to be honest. 1/4 inch of ice and about 4 to 7 inches worth of snow. Snowy says she's getting the lake effect snow. Well, there you go. You know, lake effect snow can definitely pile up in a big way. I know there's been some big lake effect snow events so far this year, and if you live in Erie, Pennsylvania, you know what I'm talking about. If you live in Buffalo or Orchard Park, New York, Watertown, New York, you guys know what I'm talking about. You guys have seen feet of snow with those lake snow bands this year. It's definitely been crazy. We're 10 people away now, folks. The big countdown. We're 10 people away from 110,000. I really do appreciate it. Monroe City, Missouri. Yeah, looks like a big snowstorm for you up there in the Monroe City, Missouri area. We could be seeing potentially up to 2 feet of snow in your area. So it looks like about 18 to 24 inches of snow in your area. And it's mostly going to be snow. I don't see really any ice up in your area. Thankfully, the ice storm is not in your area. So we're looking at 18 to 24 inches. Big snowstorm. Probably one of the biggest snowstorms you've seen in several years there in Monroe City. Coming your way. That's what it's looking like. All right. Let's see here. Bolivar, Missouri. Bob Long, thanks for joining. Or Bolivar. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Bob, am I saying that right? Bolivar, Missouri? Is that how you pronounce it? That is just north and east, or north of Springfield. Yeah, we're looking at more ice down here, unfortunately. You're going to be in that ice storm, looking up to upwards to a 1/4 inch or so of ice, maybe a 1/2 inch of ice there in your area. So very nasty ice storm potentially developing in the Bolivar area. Yep, Bob, I just answered that. Yep, Bolivar, we're looking at around a 1/4 to 1/2 inch of ice and a couple inches of snow. Benton, Missouri. So we're looking here, Benton, Missouri. Just oh wow, yeah, you're in that bullseye for ice. You're in that ice storm warning. In the Benton, Missouri area, just south of Cape Girardeau, you could be seeing 3/4 of an inch of ice. That is a crippling ice storm, and it's going to make travel very treacherous. Power outages are likely, and that could last days. Because we're seeing a lot of ice, we're not seeing much snow. Maybe an inch or two of snow, but That would be on the backside of the storm system, most likely. We're not seeing a lot of snow there. The snow is going to be well further to the north. Yeah, so make sure to stay safe there, TNT. That's definitely looking like a pretty big ice storm. Lake Ridge, Virginia. All right, after this one, I'm going to kind of update you on the latest with the storm and answer a few more questions real quick after that. Let's see. Lake Ridge, Virginia. So you're south and west of DC. Yeah, we're looking at 6 to 10 inches. So looks like a pretty big snowstorm for you on the way. So honestly, folks, this is going to be one of the biggest snowstorms we've seen in the Ohio Valley in probably at least 10 years. The way it's looking for a lot of folks out here from Indianapolis to Dayton to Columbus to Cincinnati, Louisville, those areas. Regardless if you're seeing ice or snow, I mean, this could be one of the biggest winter storms the Ohio Valley has seen in over a decade. That is quite likely here. And honestly, that's expected. With some of these totals coming in on all these models have been very consistent. And yeah, we're looking at a major, major winter storm, the likes of which we haven't seen in over a decade. This could be a decade-type winter storm there for the Ohio Valley. That is for sure, when it comes to the ice and the snow combined. Thank you for the $1.99, Connor. Snow depth Monday evening in East Central Indiana. Absolutely, we can look at that. See the snow depth on here, and we'll go over there toward the Ohio Valley. Make sure you can see it. Scroll up a little bit. Okay. Okay, so there's the snow depth. By Monday evening, there we go. East Central Indiana, we're looking at a snow depth of around 12 to 15 inches. That's what we're looking at for a snow depth. So hopefully that answers your question. Appreciate you being here. Let's see. Snowy's is saying, can you cover Moorhead, Kentucky? Yes. So let's look here at Moorhead, Kentucky real quick. Okay, so you're northeast Kentucky. We're going to see a few inches of snow there. Very tough call on whether or not Moorhead is going to see more ice or snow, but I would lean more ice for your area. It looks like you're going to see more of around 1/4 to 1/2 inch of ice. Worst case scenario, you see an inch of or 1/2 inch of ice. Looks like about 1/4 inch of ice is on the way there for your area in Moorhead, Kentucky. That's looking pretty crippling. That could cause some power outages that could last several hours to a couple of days. So make sure that you have salt ready first and foremost, and that you are staying safe. And if you need to travel with caution all across Kentucky tomorrow. I mean, folks, this is dangerous. I would not advise traveling on Monday across Kentucky. This is just a crippling ice storm, and ice is so much more dangerous to drive on than snow. It's not even funny. It's crazy. It doesn't take that much ice to cause problems. I mean, literally a light glaze of ice can cause your car, even in like all-wheel drive or anything like that, four-wheel drive, to literally slide on ice. It doesn't matter. Ice is just one of those things that's just too dangerous to drive on, even with a little bit of ice. Tazewell County, Illinois snow predictions. So let's look here at Tazewell County in Illinois. Yeah, so that includes Peoria. So we mentioned that earlier on. It looks like we're seeing around 3 inches of snow in Peoria. Now, with that said, this includes Peoria, Washington, Morton, down into Pekin. Yeah, we're looking at around 3 inches worth of snow. But again, this is a very difficult snow forecast for Tazewell County. If this shifts south, we're going to see literally almost nothing. If this shifts north, we could see more like 1 foot of snow. It really is not that far south that you have to go from Tazewell County. Maybe one more county south, 30, 40-minute drive, and you're in 1 foot of snow. or you go north by 30 or 40 minutes and you got barely anything. So you're kind of in that 1 to 3 inch or 2 to 4 inch range right now. But if this wobbles just slightly, that could make a monstrous difference in how much snow you could see there. But the thing is, it looks like we're going to see all snow there in Tazewell County, the way it's looking here right now. Snow totals in Falls Church, Virginia. So you're essentially in like the Arlington area, essentially in Virginia. So yeah, we're looking at around 6 to 10 inches of snow for you there in the Falls Church, Virginia area. So it looks like a pretty decent snowstorm on the way for you. And that snow will wrap up, it looks like, later in the day on Monday. No problem, Austin Hawkins. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. I'm glad that I am able to help. Skeptical Science, any chances of snow for Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania? Any chance of a shift there? Let's see. Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Yeah, northeast Pennsylvania, we're not seeing much. At most, we're seeing 1 to 3 inches up there. So there's not much of a shift with this. It looks like the heaviest snow will fall from Pittsburgh over toward Harrisburg and on south toward Maryland. Northeast Pennsylvania up there and eastern Pennsylvania included, we're looking at around 1 to 3 inches. So, and this will be all snow for you. We're not seeing any ice up there in northeast Pennsylvania. So I guess if there's any silver lining, we're not seeing any ice accumulation up there. But definitely some heavier snow further to your south. So we're looking at 1 to 3 inches there in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Not much of a shift. Franklin County, Ohio. So Franklin County, Ohio, that includes Columbus. So you're talking about Columbus. We're looking at 12 to 18 inches. So we're looking at 12 to 18 inches of snow into the Franklin County area there, including the Columbus area in Ohio. So 12 to 18 inches of snow. So you're definitely going to need your snow shovels, your snow boots, and your snow blower out there for Monday. That is for sure. Travel will be pretty tricky Sunday evening and going into your Monday morning commute there into the Columbus area and Franklin County in general in Ohio. Thank you, Snowies. Again, thank y'all. We did hit it. We did hit 110,000 subscribers. Again, if you are new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We are going to have a video tomorrow, late morning, covering this major winter storm from snow to ice and severe weather. We're going to look ahead to the middle of January, and there is, evidence that there is another winter storm on the way. This time further south, that could include North Texas, Tennessee, Arkansas, maybe even parts of the Mid-Atlantic again as we go into later next week. And we could be right back on here late next week on a live stream talking about that as well. So make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, turn on all post notifications so you get those future live streams, videos, and stuff like that. We have you covered on this channel. Any ice in Keatsville, Missouri? I think we already covered the Keatsville, Missouri area, and I think it's mostly snow for your area. Let me check that again. Yeah, you're going to see probably one of the biggest snows in your area in several years, it looks like. So Keatsville, Missouri, we're looking at roughly 18 to 24 inches of snow. So we're looking at a major snowstorm in Keatsville, Missouri, not looking at ice really at all. So this is going to be a major snowstorm for your area. There's Missouri. And it looks like roughly around 18 to 24 inches. So it's gonna take some time to dig out of that much snow in that area. It'll probably continue into Monday and Tuesday of trying to clean up after this storm there. Brandon says Eminence, Kentucky. So let's look here at Eminence, Kentucky. You're just east of Louisville. Right now, it looks like a few inches of snow, but ice could be a major concern. We could be talking about a half an inch worth of ice in your area. So a pretty crippling ice storm is possible there, and also a few inches of snow. So it looks like around ½ inch of ice and maybe upwards to 4 or 5 inches of snow. So a pretty intense looking winter storm for your area, that's for sure. Chillicothe, Missouri. Yep, the Chillicothe area. We're looking at a major snowstorm. You're in the bullseye there in the Chillicothe area. We're looking at around 2 feet. This model's coming in at 26 inches of snow. If that verifies, we could have over 2 feet of snow. So there's going to be a lot of snow on the ground here in the Chillicothe, Missouri area, back toward Kansas City. Right now, Kansas City, Overland Park, Leavenworth, Olathe, we're looking at pretty much around 18 to 20 inches of snow, including the Kansas City metro area. Furlong, Pennsylvania snow totals. Let's see here. Furlong. You're in far eastern Pennsylvania there. So let's move that over. Furlong, Pennsylvania, we're looking roughly at about, it looks like about 4 to 7 inches. So it looks like 4 to 7 inch snow is on the way there. And the ice accumulation is going to be pretty light. We're not seeing really any ice up there. So about 4 to 7 inches worth of snow on the way for Furlong, Pennsylvania. Thank you, Lance, for the $4.99 super chat. Morgantown, Kentucky. Again, I think we covered this earlier, but we can answer it since you sent in that super chat. Morgantown, Kentucky. West Central Kentucky. Yeah, we're looking at a pretty big ice storm for your area. Not much snow, but it looks like about a... Looks like a pretty big ice storm there, anywhere from around 1/10 of an inch to around 1/4 inch of ice. The 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch of ice, maybe just a county or two north of you. But if this shifts a little bit further south, you could be more in that ice. But it looks like around a 1/10 of an inch of ice to 1/4 inch, and the 1/2 inch of ice is just here north, there into Morgantown, Kentucky. Thank you for the $4.99. I appreciate it. Thanks for the support. Topeka, Kansas. Into the Topeka area. Yeah, we could be seeing 2 feet of snow. There literally could be areas here in North Kansas that could see literally 32 inches of snow. That is a blizzard that is likely here. That's where the blizzard warnings are. We could see upwards of 30 inches of snow here perhaps in northern Kansas, and that's not a joke. We could be seeing some very, very heavy snow in northern Kansas. That is for sure. Thank you, St. Elmo's Fire, for the $1.99. Fancy Gap, Virginia. We're in Southwest Virginia, so we'll switch over here. And again, I gotta always make sure my screen so you guys can see it. We're not looking at much snow for you. We're probably looking at, if any snow, we're looking at maybe an inch worth. So not much snow for you. As far as ice, we could be seeing a trace to 1/10 of an inch of ice. So we're not really seeing too much precipitation for your area with this storm. So some light ice, light snow, 1/10 of an inch of ice, and it looks like maybe an inch of snow. And that just may be enough to make travel really treacherous in that area. That is for sure. Newport, Virginia. Newport News, Virginia. So Newport News, Virginia. As far as ice goes, we're not seeing anything. As far as snow goes, for your area there in Newport News, Virginia, we're looking at around 1 to 3 inches. So 1 to 3 inches worth of snow there in Newport News, Virginia. Ice is not a concern for you. It's going to be all snow. That is what we're seeing for that area. Utah is not going to be affected by this storm, at least, with the snow and ice or severe weather. So this is mainly the central and eastern U.S. that we're talking about. Bedford, Indiana. Yeah, we're looking at around 12 to 18 inches of snow for you there in the Bedford area. So very heavy snow, and ice is not much of a concern. We may have a tenth, maybe 2/10 of an inch of ice, but it looks like the heaviest ice storm will be to the south, so Evansville. So if anybody on here is watching from Evansville, Indiana, we could be seeing a half to a 3/4 of an inch of ice. Half an inch to 3/4 of an inch of ice there in Evansville. And again, into the Bedford area, we're looking at 12 to 18 inches worth of snow. So pretty big snowstorm, probably one of the biggest snowstorms you've seen there in quite a while, that's for sure. Ashland County, Ohio. Where's the storm at now? It's over in the Central Plains. So if we go back here and look at this, right here. So here's the storm now. It's back here toward Kansas right now. And we're going to go to we're going to keep it on here actually. So that's where the storm's at now. That's where the precipitation is here in the middle of the country. Nebraska, Kansas, and moving into Missouri. That's where the storm is. The low pressure center is actually over here in northeast New Mexico right now. And it will be moving to the north and east towards North Oklahoma by the time we get into 6 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. That's where the low pressure will be, basically just north of Oklahoma City, moving toward Tulsa. And that's why we're going to have, you see these tight isobars on the backside, some blizzard conditions likely on the backside here. So there could be some very heavy snow mixed with some very strong winds over 30, 40 miles an hour. So blizzard warnings have been posted for central and parts of northern Kansas. And some of these areas, like I just mentioned, could see 30 inches of snow. The deformation snow band on a lot of these systems are very intense, especially when we see a strengthening low pressure system from northeast New Mexico through, say, northeastern Oklahoma and southwest Missouri. These types of tracks are favorable for very heavy snow and blizzard-like conditions in northern Kansas. And that is what we're seeing here. So that's where the storm's at now. Now, getting back to what I was mentioning earlier, Ashland County, Ohio. The Ashland County, Ohio area, we're roughly seeing, we're going to see some pretty light snow out of this. I'm not concerned about anything major. Up here to the north, we're looking at maybe a 2 to 4 inch snow there in the Ashland County area. So kind of a light to moderate snow event for you, the heaviest of which will be south toward Columbus, Cincinnati, and Dayton. That is where we're going to start to see more of the 12, 18-inch snow totals down there. But for you in the Ashland County, Ohio area, we're looking at around 2 to 4 inches or so up there in northern Ohio. Hey Pamela, thanks for joining. Lebanon, Missouri. So yeah, we'll look at that real quick. The Lebanon area there in Missouri, we're looking at a pretty decent ice storm is on the way. And it's really starting now in earnest. We're starting to see some ice there. And I went too far. Over here, there's Missouri. So the Lebanon area, we're looking at roughly around a 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch of ice. The heaviest ice will be east of you toward Cape Girardeau. But we're still seeing a decent chance for ice there. We're not going to see much snow. Maybe on the backside we could see 1 to 3 inches of snow, but that's not going to be much. And that will be over top of the ice. So you're going to get the ice first and then some of that lighter snow on the backside. And that snow will be fluffier snow because it's going to be coming in with some Arctic air, and usually drier snow is fluffier. So that is what we're going to be seeing here on the backside of this low pressure system. All right. All right, folks, if you are new to the channel, again, subscribe. We're going to be here for you tomorrow. We're going to be doing a video tomorrow, late morning. We're going to be doing a video late morning tomorrow. So make sure you are subscribed, turn on post notifications, and if you haven't turned them on yet, make sure to do so you're notified for the video tomorrow. And like this live stream, very important. Give it a thumbs up down below. If you haven't yet, make sure to do so. Is DC getting 10 inches? Washington, D.C.? Well, let's go over here and check it out. Yeah, the Washington, D.C. area, yes, 10 inches is likely. And we could see as much as a foot of snow if everything comes together just right in Washington, D.C. But yes, 10 inches is most likely there in the D.C. area. So if anybody watching from around Washington, D.C., it looks like 10 inches is most likely there. Snowies is turning my attention to Bristol, Virginia. So let's look here at Bristol, Virginia real quick. This is in far southwest Virginia, or did I do that right? Yeah, so far southwest Virginia there. We're not looking at much, maybe an inch of snow at most. We're not looking at much snow from this system, maybe a little bit of ice too, but only a couple hundredths of an inch. Again, the heavy ice storms further off to the north toward Pikeville, Kentucky, and the heavy snow is further to the north as well toward West Virginia. So we're not looking at much in the form of heavy snow, but maybe an inch of snow and some very light glaze of ice at worst case scenario. That's all we're seeing up there into the Bristol, Virginia area. Is Tulsa, Oklahoma going to see anything? Great question. Let's look here at Tulsa, Oklahoma, as far as any like wintry precipitation is concerned. Tulsa may see maybe up to an inch of snow on the backside of the system. Not really seeing much snow, even on the backside. Not really seeing much ice, so you're kind of going to dodge a bullet there into the Tulsa area. We're really not seeing much snow or ice, so really dodging a bullet as far as the wintry precipitation goes. We could still see some rain, however. If we look at the rainfall there in the Tulsa area, we could be seeing around a half an inch of rain. So definitely still some rain shower activity that could be overspreading Tulsa as we go through the Sunday time frame. St. Louis on the Illinois side, heavy snow. We're going to be seeing some pretty heavy snow over there. And snowfall amounts for that region on the Illinois side of St. Louis is going to be around 12 to 18 inches. Ice, we could be seeing as much as 1/10 of an inch of ice on the Illinois side of St. Louis. Berkeley Springs, West Virginia. No problem, Snowies. Berkeley Springs in West Virginia. So we're going to go over here and look at totals for over here. Just to make sure I got the right area. You're in kind of the panhandle area, right? So you're looking at around a foot of snow. So it looks like 12 to 15 inches is a good bet for you. You kind of have a little influence of the higher elevation there with the Appalachians. So 12 to 15 inches worth of snow. Ice is really not a concern for you. So it looks like all snow for the most part there in the Berkeley Springs, West Virginia area. Yes, these are HRRR totals, correct. This is the most accurate guidance that we have, and the HRRR has been nailing a lot of these systems this year. So, and these totals honestly look pretty realistic. As far as the computer models, all of them together, the NAM, the high resolution FV3 model, the GFS, the Euro, the Canadian, the Icon, tons of these models are showing these totals, so this is pretty high confidence. We obviously are close to this event, so these mesoscale models showing kind of the mesoscale features with the snowfall are really starting to take shape. Like the global models were showing high totals, but not high totals like we were seeing back here, for example. I'll show you in like Kansas we're seeing totals up to 30 inches. The global models were showing ridiculous numbers, but not like this in Kansas. They had them a little further east. Also, northern Missouri seeing like 20, 25 inches of snow potentially with this system. The mesoscale models are picking up on the rate of which the snow will be falling. So it's picking that up on here. And that's why the HRRR is very important. Ellicott City, Maryland. So the Ellicott City area there, west of Baltimore, looks to see some pretty decent snow as we go into the day on, especially Monday. Looks like we're going to see the heaviest of the snow there just west of Baltimore. We could be talking about around 10 inches. So about 9-10 inches of snow is a good bet for you. And that'll extend all the way down to Washington, D.C., seeing 10 inches of snow. I know a lot of people here are tuning in from around Washington, D.C. area. Yeah, it looks like around 10 inches worth of snow for you is a good bet. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go back over the forecast here and the information that we do have. So let's look here at the timing of the storm. Let's zoom it out. We're going to talk about the central U.S. here first. Actually, we're going to zoom it out a little bit more. So let's look at the HRRR here, center this just right. We're going to look at the timing of the system, kind of zoom it out so everybody gets a bearings on the United States here, and talk about the system as a whole. So let's look here at around 9 o'clock this evening. We're going to start to see more freezing precipitation. This is going to be freezing rain. This is going to be sleet starting to fall there in Kansas, okay? And this could definitely start to change over to some very heavy snow. So this is a dangerous situation. If you're living in Kansas, we got sleet and freezing rain on the bottom layer. And then we're going to be adding heavy, heavy snow. Blizzard conditions, by the way, in Kansas. This could be a major, extreme type of winter storm on the Winter Storm Severity Index there for northern Kansas. And what the Winter Storm Severity Index does is basically is a guide for how extreme these storms could be, like the different levels. You got minor, moderate, major, and extreme. Okay, there's 4 levels, and that could be a pretty major, if not extreme, on the Winter Storm Severity Index there for northern Kansas as we go into the morning hours there on Sunday. This could be a pretty significant event. Notice how it's snowing heavily as well at 9 a.m. on Sunday in Kansas City. Snowfall rates could be over an inch per hour, so this is definitely going to cause those roads to deteriorate very quickly. Further to the south, we got an ice storm brewing from East Kansas into central Missouri, down here into southern Illinois, western Kentucky. I am extremely concerned. There are some areas in southeast Missouri and southern Illinois under those ice storm warnings that we'll see ice literally for a 24-hour period nonstop, and then some snow on the backside. That is looking like a doozy of a winter storm if I've ever seen one. So, yes, this is going to be a big snowstorm. Is it going to be the biggest snowstorm in the Ohio Valley that we've seen in 10 years? Probably, to be honest with you. This is probably going to be the biggest winter storm we have seen in Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Columbus, Louisville, and probably Evansville, Indiana, maybe even Carbondale, that we have seen in over 10 years, whether it's for snow or ice. This is potentially going to be the biggest snowstorm and or biggest ice storm in those cities that we have seen in over a decade. This is no joke. This is just giving you flat out the information, and that is what the information and data shows, is that this could be the snowiest single day on record potentially for places like Indianapolis. If some of these models verify, and we literally could be seeing double-digit and well into double-digit territory snows in Indianapolis and places like that in far eastern Illinois. So this could be a big snowstorm for these areas. I see somebody continuing to ask about Madison. There's no Madison, West Virginia. I'm assuming you're asking about Madison, Virginia, not West Virginia. Madison, Virginia, we could be seeing a few inches of snow there, and that'll mainly be falling there overnight Sunday and into Monday morning. And then wrapping up, maybe some snow on the backside Monday afternoon and evening. That's what we're looking at. So general timing, it's going to be out in the Central Plains, heading into the Midwest, overnight tonight into Sunday morning, moving into the Ohio Valley as we go through the morning and into the afternoon, and it's going to be a doozy of a snowstorm there. And then in the Mid-Atlantic, we're going to see that move in mainly Sunday evening and continue in through Monday midday or so. And severe weather on the southern side. We got a squall line of severe weather, kind of a deal where damaging winds and tornadoes will be the main threats for severe weather. The instability is not super high, so large hail is not going to be that big of a deal, but still there. Chance for some quarter to half dollar size hail rather in portions there of the Arklamis region of Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi. Supercell thunderstorms on the leading edge, or at least ahead of the main squall line, could pose the biggest risk for tornadoes. It's not looking to be a tornado outbreak. I think damaging winds and heavy rain will be the main mode of weather tomorrow across Dixie Alley, but still got to watch out for hail and tornadoes, as that Storm Prediction Center does have that 10% chance of tornadoes here, including southeastern portions there of Arkansas into northeastern Louisiana and west central Mississippi. This including the metro hub of Jackson into areas of Monroe, Natchez, and Greenville, in that 10% area there of tornadoes on Sunday. This, of course, will be updated by the Storm Prediction Center as we go into overnight tonight. At 1 o'clock in the morning, they're going to be updating this Central Time, as the Storm Prediction Center is based out of Norman, Oklahoma. They update their outlooks on Central Time. So that'll be around 1 o'clock in the morning for a new day one outlook from them. And we'll see if they up the ante on this. I think a 10% chance of tornado is looking pretty good, considering it is a squall line right now. What about Macomb, Illinois? Macomb, we're going to see some snow up there. As far as snow totals in the Macomb area in Illinois, we're looking at really kind of it's going to be a sharp gradient there in Macomb. We're looking at anywhere from 0 to as much as 12 inches. And how wild that sounds, a small deviation in the track of the system for Macomb will mean the difference between literally nothing and a foot of snow. If this moves further north by a county or two, Macomb could see a foot of snow. If this moves south by a county or two, Macomb will literally see not a flake of snow. So this is a major difference, and it's all due to that sharp dry slot cutoff on the northern side. We're going to have a sharp gradient because we have a strong Canadian high pressure system moving in across the upper Midwest from Canada, and that is going to bring cold, dry air in, and dry air is going to eat away at the northern fringes of the snow shield. So there's going to be a major cutoff. Like, there's literally areas that in western Illinois could see no snow, and then you go 30 miles south and you get a foot of snow on the ground. That literally is going to be reality as we go into the day on Sunday. Grant County, Kentucky. So let's look here at Grant County, Kentucky real quick, and south of Cincinnati. So south of Cincinnati right now, we are looking at the potential for up to a foot of snow. So that is what we're looking at there for the Grant County area. Although freezing rain is not going to be too far behind, we could definitely be seeing a little bit of some freezing rain there, maybe up to a quarter of an inch of freezing rain. That will definitely make travel very treacherous there into the Grant County area into Kentucky, that is for sure. How much snow for Scott County, Indiana? Oh, I went to the wrong one here. Scott County, Indiana. So for Scott County, Indiana, we're not looking at much snow. It's going to be mostly ice for you. We're looking at about 1/10 of an inch of ice to maybe upwards to 1/4 of an inch of ice for you. Snowfall, we may have some accumulation anywhere from about 4 to 7 inches, but some of that may be cut down. Those snow totals may be cut down by a smidge because of the freezing rain. If snow is your predominant precipitation type there in Scott County, which is very uncertain, it's very tough to say. You're kind of on that line. 4 to 7 inches would be a good bet. If you see more freezing rain, then you'd see 1/4 inch there of ice accumulation. Very, very tough forecast there for your area. All right, folks. Yeah, no problem, Andrea. How much snow for Jefferson City, Missouri? Yep, let's look at that real quick. So Jefferson City, Missouri, very tough to say, but it looks like around 4 to 6 inches worth of snow. It looks like you're going to get a lot more in the way of some icing up there, up to potentially a 1/4 inch of ice for you as well. So you're kind of right in between where that snow would fall and that ice storm threat there into the Jefferson City, Missouri area. All right. What about Knoxville, Tennessee? Knoxville, Tennessee may have a little bit of ice in the Cumberland Plateau and kind of the Pigeon Forge area there, not too far away. But Snowfall, as far as snow is concerned, maybe a little bit of snow on the backside. Probably not much, maybe a 1/2 inch at most, and that may be pushing it. I think a dusting of snow or a coating, whatever you call it, is how much we could see there in Knoxville. Otherwise, it's going to be mainly rain with that cold front as it comes through. Could bring a wave of rain or two as we go into the day on Sunday and through the Sunday night time frame. All right. How much ice in Central City, Kentucky? Central City, Kentucky, yeah, we're looking at around 1/4 to 1/2 inch of ice for your area. So it looks like a pretty crippling ice storm, 1/4 to 1/2 inch of ice. That will, again, the trees will be weighted down. Power outages are likely in the scenario. Roads will become very impossible to drive on. Definitely going to be a big deal there in western Kentucky. So all I can say is there's ice storm warnings from southeastern Missouri into southern Illinois. That's where we most likely will have up to 3/4 of an inch of ice. Again, that will cause widespread power outages. The roadways are going to be hazardous, dangerous, and impossible to drive on. So please, I am advising you in southeast Missouri, southern Illinois, especially down toward Mount Vernon and Carbondale, to really just stay off the roadways tomorrow. It's going to be a very dangerous day, and even tonight as well, later tonight. And if you're in southern Indiana, north central Kentucky, and western West Virginia, I would watch for the potential. There is a winter storm warning in these areas. I would watch the potential for an upgrade to an ice storm warning if ice storm totals continue to grow in some of these weather models. And some of these are showing bullish numbers over a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. If that continues, and that trend could continue, then ice storm warning upgrades could be possible in some of these areas. And if you get more ice, you're going to see less snow. If you get more snow, you're going to see less ice. That's just how this storm is going to work out for you in some of these areas. All right. I would like to spend here all night and answer as many questions as I can. Folks, the live stream will be ending in a few minutes, okay? That does not mean I can't answer any more of your questions. I will be here all night long to answer any of your questions. So after the live stream's over, continue to jot your questions down for any city that you have. I will get you the information that you need and how much ice and snow you'll have, okay? I'll still be here even after the live stream ends. So make sure to do that. If you want to know anything about your city, I'll have you covered on the live stream even after it ends. As the live stream's ending, again, if you have not liked the live stream, make sure to give it a thumbs up down below. It really helps out in the algorithm and getting this information to more and more people. We mentioned a lot of city names, a lot of county names here today. Hopefully that is a big help and giving you some insight on the timing of the storm earlier on in the live stream and how much snow and ice and stuff and severe weather you could expect. We didn't spend as much time on the severe weather because simply we didn't have any questions on the severe weather really. But that's still going to be a big deal down there into Mississippi, Arkansas, and Louisiana. Please be weather ready tomorrow for the potential of tornadoes, 70-mile-an-hour winds, and some hail. Definitely a dangerous severe weather day down there in Arkansas, Mississippi, and Louisiana. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We're going to be posting a new accurate weather and reliable weather forecast for you late tomorrow morning between around 10 a.m. and noon. So that's going to be posted Central Time between 10 a.m. and noon, which would be 12 p.m. And we're going to be posting that again to update you on the latest with the weather alerts, the track of the storm and the timing and when you can expect the snow and ice and stuff to begin, and as well as the snow totals, ice totals, and the severe weather. And we'll also look ahead at the next winter storm potentially later next week, which could track from the southern plains all the way through Tennessee, Ohio Valley again, and into the mid-Atlantic. And we could be doing live streams like this again later next week. Thank you all for subscribing to the channel and helping me grow my channel. We hit our goal of 110,000 subscribers on the stream. Definitely appreciate it. Again, make sure to like the live stream down below. Helps out more than you know. Thank you all for the super chats that were sent in as well and helping support the channel. Much appreciated. Thank you to Snowies for modding. And thank you all for being here. And again, the live stream is ending. Doesn't mean you have to end your questions. Continue to ask your questions. I will type in the answers after this in the chat, okay? Thank you all for watching. Please be safe out there. If you're in the plains, the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, the Mid-Atlantic, the Southern Plains, or the Deep South for severe weather tomorrow, just be safe. Make sure you take this entire storm seriously on either side, the cold side, the warm side. This is a dangerous storm. All right? Have a great rest of your evening, everybody. Stay safe, and I will see you all tomorrow. Good night, everybody.